Breaking news, folks. A hype train during the countdown. That doesn't happen every day. Thank you, Bims510 for resubscribing on Prime, and Corathane as well, and El Crosso. And then from a few days ago, Ogre1983 and XX3000 and Price Johnson. Yay! Back to the music. Hey everybody, hey Ruel, hey Duck
Hello.
of Death for resubscribing just at the exact moment to push us over the level into another hype train. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? How you doing,
hi,
Ruel?
folks? I'm hanging in there. Thank you. This is a wonderful occasion because this is the final episode that I'm going to be recording from here in the Airbnb.
Yes.
We're moving back. I'm so excited, and thanks for the hype train, folks. Is the hype train still going? I can't see.
I think it is. I'm really not quite sure how to read it. Apparently we just hit level 2, and
Nice.
and we're on our way to a level 3. And if there was ever a reason for a hype train, it is you finally getting out of Airbnb purgatory.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it has been. It's going on almost 3 months. It's insane. I never thought we'd be here that long, but man, there's a lot of subscribers and followers. Thank you, friends. This is awesome. You are watching the R&R pre-show. We're going to be recording an episode of the R&R show, but first we like to hang out here and chill out and catch up with each other as you all stroll in. And Duchess, thank you for the cheers as well. Good to see you here.
Yep, and thanks for the sub, Travis and Fidelia and Flashburn and Duck of Death and everybody else who I was thanking during the countdown. Oh my goodness! So, Ruel,
Wow.
I mean, are there any stories to tell, or is it just okay? The ordeal's over. We're going home, and there's not much more to say.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I've just been so exhausted and just mentally drained after all this. We had the final inspection the other day. Of course, there were still things that needed to be taken care of. They will actually be coming back tomorrow to finish up a couple minor things, but that's perfectly fine. I've been thinking about this last 3 months. I mean, I've been doing my best to.
Is it 3 months? You have been.
It's almost 3 months. Yeah,
in
I think
that
it's
little
like
Airbnb for just shy of 3 months.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
Wow.
When they first started this whole process, they said, okay, it'd be about a month. And I was like, okay, I'll add like 2 weeks to that, month and a half.
And that was already going to, you were like, oh, that's rough, but okay, we'll soldier through.
Yep, and sure enough, it's been 3 months. It's been an ordeal, but we are thankful that we have the homeowners insurance to take care of most of these bills and stuff. They didn't cover everything, but they covered most of it, which is nice. And so here's the thing. I went, and this is sort of related. I went to a holiday party last night. It is November 15th. I went to my first holiday party last night, thanks to the op. They hosted this party at a local game store.
Oh, really? That's cool.
A bunch of Southern California content creators got together. It was great. And I am all about the holiday cheer now, Richard. With how bad these last 3 months are, I normally don't celebrate the holidays this early. This year, I am. Bring on the holiday cheer. I am all about it, folks. After the last 3 months, I will celebrate with all of you as early as possible. I am just grateful to be going home. We spent. Thank you for the cheers. We spent our first night back home last night. So we're not totally moved back. There's still things here in the Airbnb.
You've already moved out?
We've moved most of the stuff out. And last night, even though the house is still not really in disarray, but still, not totally finished, we're like, I want to sleep in my own bed. So last night was our first night back.
So you have come back to the Airbnb for the sole purpose of filming this today?
Yes, because I'm filming this and a couple of other videos after this offline, and because I just didn't, there was not enough, there's no space. Like, I don't know I'm trying to figure things out where I'm going to go in the office. Like, I have one little table, I don't have my table topper that I normally use because that's in
because
storage.
stuff is in storage. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And here's the fun thing. Storage, they were going to bring everything back in 2 weeks. So we're not going to be totally moved back in for another 2 weeks. So it's not over yet, folks. But for the most part.
You know what you need to do? You need to contact the owner of the Airbnb you've been staying at for almost 3 months and say, hey, as a memento of my time here, I would like to take this desk.
I never want to see this desk again. It's so small, but it did the job, and everyone's been so supportive. All of the viewers here, and also on my channel. I do want to thank everyone just for the messages of support here in chat, and also private messages too. Y'all, that really meant a lot to me, and also I shared them with Michelle. So thank you all. And I'm on Board Game Arena, folks. You can find me at Ruel Gaviel on Board Game Arena. A bunch of y'all sent games, and we played games online. So I've been playing Lost Cities and all kinds of great games. Yeah, so thank you all. It's kept me sane during these last 3 months. I really appreciate it.
Wow. Well. Yeah. Congratulations. So next week, by the way, folks, we'll be back. 2 R&Rs back to back. Yes. We've got this week sponsored by Fun Again, and next week sponsored by, I do not remember the name of the publisher, but they're launching a crowdfunding game for portable gaming bags, which is going to be showing up in the mail. Ooh. So they'll be sponsoring next week. So we got to come up with the top 10 for next week as well. But I'm just so happy that life is getting back to normal just in time for the holidays. Do you do a big hosting Thanksgiving thing at all or anything like that?
Normally we go to my brother's house for Thanksgiving, but this year everyone's decided, we're coming over to our house this time. Course. So cool. And we're like, yes, so it's perfect. So we're gonna have a good time with that. Looking forward to. I've got some games I'm ready to play with my nieces and nephews, so I'm excited about that. Speaking of exciting. You got any news on the RV front? Have you taken another trip or anything?
We have now done 2 trips. The original one that we drove back from California when we picked it up, and then I think it was 2 weekends ago, maybe 3 weekends ago now. It was miserable and cold and gray, and I looked up and said, you know what? There is a 50-50 chance there is sunshine on the Oregon coast. At Seaside, Oregon. Or was it Seaside, Washington? I remember Oregon and Washington because we're so close to the border. And I said, you want to go? And she's like, I don't know. We're here. I'm comfy in the back. We have it. We can go. And she's like, okay, we'll go. And we had an amazing time. Nice. Absolutely wonderful. We were both so happy we did it that we just had the freedom to just pick up sticks and go and just follow the sun. And it was a beautiful sunny time the entire time it was there. And it was cold and miserable here. And so our next big trip, speaking of Thanksgiving, my in-laws, Jen's folks, live in Salem, Oregon, which is about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive south of here. So they're doing a big Thanksgiving, and so we're driving down there in the RV. We will spend the night in their driveway, and actually I think we're going to spend 2 nights there, and then we will keep on going and do Southern Oregon coast stuff. So we're excited about that. So we will be having a little like 4 or 5 day long sojourn. And then we'll probably take it easy until late February, early March when we go on an epic. It's going to be like 2.5 months. Driving down to Dice Tower West and then continuing on to Utah and New Mexico and doing a lot of sun, trying to get to, like Zion and the Grand Canyon before the main holiday season. And so we're already starting to book all of that stuff out. So that's going to be an epic super test of how can Rahdo Runs to exist on the road.
That is amazing. Wow. Have you been to Zion before?
No, Jen has.
Okay, it is so beautiful. It is, gorgeous. What a cool trip. So you're going to start with Dice Tower West and just go from there. Just keep going.
And then just keep on heading south. Wow. Actually, we're going to drive south. I haven't even talked to her about this yet. I need to reach out. In Central California, my long-lost half-sister, who, as you recall, we only became aware of her existence, within the last year. She lives in northern Central California, so we're going to try and go down and see her and spend the night at her place and meet her for the first time ever, and then head east over into Nevada and then down into Vegas for Dice Tower West. Stay there for the full campaign, and we'll have our dogs with us because we'll sleep in the RV instead of in the hotel. It'll be very exciting. Nice. And then just keep on heading south. So that's terrifying. We'll see how it goes. We've only just started planning that, but we're trying not to plan it too much. We're trying to just say, hey, just see where the road takes us, see what happens. But Zion is a very popular place. You do need to book RV spots there, months, even years in advance, apparently.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And then as far as Vegas, do you have to do that too? Book an RV spot? I don't know where there it is.
There are RV spots around Vegas, and some of the hotels have lots that will let you do it. Where is our Dice Tower West? I forget. It's at the Rio this year, same as last year.
Yes.
And the Rio does have a big lot that you can have RVs, but you have to be a registered guest of the hotel, which makes no sense. So you're saying I have to get a room so that I can stay in your parking lot. So I'm trying to figure that out. We might be staying someplace else because there are other options. Apparently Circus famously lets people stay for free, provided you just, go in and gamble a little bit. So that might be the case.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. The other exciting thing. There is a battle to the death right above your head, Ruel.
Wow.
Mortal combat between Goblin and I can't quite see who. Oh, Duck of Death. So
nice.
They're working out their differences in a healthy way. So for the longest time we thought, okay, we're going to get this RV. We're going to get a tow car, just a small little car, something we can buy used with a couple 100,000 miles on it because we don't really care that much about the car. Hopefully we can find something for 1,500 or 2,000, and we would pull that along with us. But we have since fallen in love with the idea with electric bikes.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yep. And so we bought some, and after we're done today, I've got to drive all the way down to Salem, that 3-hour round-trip drive I was just talking about, to go pick them up. Because we had them sent to Oregon, where there's no sales tax. So we could save a couple $100 instead of having them sent directly to us. So I will be paying for that sales tax in my own personal endless stare as I drive down there to get them.
Wow, that's so cool. So you will have your e-bikes when you're going on your trip here. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, very exciting. So that's what's new with us. That's what's new with you. And people are wondering, hey, don't we come here to hear about games? How much longer are they going to talk about non-game stuff, right?
Yeah, let's talk about some games. Why don't we?
Okay. Well, I'm sure check the chat if there's anything that needs tending to while I find the requests. I think we have a big backlog of requests. We do.
Okay. Let's go through those, yes.
All right.
Let's see. People in chat, everyone. People were freaking out. They were thinking it was the last episode of the R&R Show. No, yes, the last episode that I'm filming from the Airbnb, folks.
Yes. It'll be the end of an era, a mini era.
Yeah. I'm not going anywhere, until Richard kicks me out of here. I'm here with y'all for the duration.
Yep.
Let's see. Anything else? That RV life where the pets get to go with you.
Oh,
nice.
That's it. So it's all about that. Yeah. We were just on Amazon this morning looking at dog backpacks.
Dog backpacks.
Yep. Jen wanted to go getting
it.
one of those little things that you can just hook. It's like a little basket that pulls behind the bike. But I'm kind of keen on the backpacks myself. So we'll see which way we ultimately go. But we got a lot to figure out for this super trip. Hey,
that's so cool.
We have 2 Game Sommelier requests. From Goblin and from Victory BHG, and I believe they're both here. I believe, Bing was one of the people fighting. Oh no, Duck to the Death. So I know Goblin is here.
Goblin's here. Yeah.
So
let's do those. I love the Game Sommeliers.
So Goblin, 14 days ago, said, "Hey, I'm looking for Feld-like games with good solo rules." Right. And so that's a good point. Alrighty, so Feld-like games with good solo rules. Folks, this is the Game Sommelier, where we make recommendations based on requests from the audience. You in the audience can help with this as well. I know how I'm going to look this up. I'm going to go to Board Game Geek. And what am I going to do an advanced search for? Really, I'm just going to do an advanced search for through my collection of everything that I've got that plays solo. But can you think of anything off the top of your head?
Yeah, I do. I thought of a wonderful game. So this one, friends, this reminded me of a Feld game when I first played it. And after multiple plays, it really does feel like a Feld game. And it does have a solo mode, which is easy to manage. The game is Wreck Raiders. This is from Kids Board Gaming Tables. And this is the game that really flipped my view of Kids Table. Was it Kids Tabletop Board Gaming? KTBG, that company.
Yep, Kids Table Board Games, yes. Which you would think is, for kids. But it's not. That is total.
Not at all.
No truth in advertising there.
Exactly. And but now it is very kid friendly as far as like components and artwork. I mean, all their games look wonderful. But Wreck Raiders is very much like a Stefan Feld game, and it's a point salad. You are sending your little divers down to the bottom of the ocean to collect different treasures and whatnot and different items. So it's set collection, but then you bring it up to the surface and you put it in your treasure chest, and it's got this sort of like neat little spatial puzzle. And then there's other ways to score. I think objectives. And then for the solo mode, I think it's basically just blocking your workers. I think that's how it works. It's been a while since I played, but Wreck Raiders, I highly recommend. I've always talked about how that's very much like a Stefan Feld game, and I think you would like that as well. I think it was Goblin that
Goblin's
requested it.
I mean, I played the prototype of it, and we thought, it was very cool, really nice presentation. All about diving. There's different dive sites you're trying to race everybody down to get all the treasure. Yeah, it's a good little game, nice little puzzly game. That's a good call.
Yeah. Okay. What about you? Did you find anything?
If you're looking at kind of like the lighter end of Feld, like his
Absolutely.
Castles of Tuscany, his Rialtos, that kind of thing. Now, I think when most people think Feld, they think, though, of your Trajans, your big, heavy stuff.
Right. What do you got?
Let's see. Well, right off the bat, I mean, if we want to talk about new hotness, I think one of the bigger games of the year, although it's probably not available yet, is Revive. Which is so cool. To me, what defines a Feld game, what makes them stand out more than anything else, is that they've got a lot of really rich, complex stuff going on, lots of plates to keep spinning, but at their heart, they're driven by one simple little mechanism that you do over and over again, but that is endlessly fascinating, whether it is the Mancala in Trajan or the dice tile drafting in Burgundy or whatever it is. And Revive has this wonderful little, it's not the first time it's ever done, but they're multi-use cards where you tuck them under the top of your board to do the top action or under the bottom of the board to do the bottom action. It's not like we haven't seen this before. This has been done in games, but these cards are color-coded, and you can upgrade the slots that you can tuck cards into. So if I upgrade one of the top cards to say, hey, you want to put red cards in this slot because you'll get double duty out of them, well, then you've created this new little puzzle for yourself. Well, I've got one of those cards that I can put up there, but I really need to use the bottom action. I need to put it at the bottom or even on the side when you unlock more stuff. And it's awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. It's definitely going to be in my top 10 games of the year. Maybe that's not a good one, though, because it's so brand new. I don't know that it's widely available yet.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds great. Yeah.
Yep.
So Revive, I have not seen. I mean, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen that. That's interesting.
Yep. Then I should go back in time a little bit. Let's see here. Of course, anything from Vladimir Suchi, who is another one of my favorite designers of all time, or most things from Alexander Pfister work really well too. But things that really push a simple action selection mechanism that lead into big puzzly stuff. You know what? My favorite T game, from the board and dice, is Teotihuacan. I know not everybody agrees. A lot of people, it's Teotihuacan. A lot of people, it's Zulk in the Mayan calendar, but that doesn't count because it wasn't published by Board and Dice. But Teotihuacan, I was super impressed. It's a simple game of workers kind of cascading their way down a central pyramid, and you've got different paths you're following. You're trying to, I need to get that one over there so that one over there can get me what I need. It's really sharp from designer Dave Turchi. And like I said, for me, I mean, for some people, it's a bit too much. It can overwhelm you. The first time you set up the board, you're like, oh, look at all this stuff. It's a bit much. But once you start drilling down, say, well, I really need to get to that space. If I'm going to try and activate that thing, what are the steps I'm going to take to get there? And if I'm taking those steps, how am I going to leverage those with things I'm doing elsewhere? I thought it was a very, very impressive game.
Nice. I was thinking so back in the day, before I had played Troyes, I always thought that was a Stefan Feld game.
Oh, really? Yeah, I would buy that. I would believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's got the the dice action selection, right? I mean, it feels like a Feld to me. I don't think it's quite as a point salad as some of his games are.
Yeah.
But it's got that really interesting mechanism. Okay, here's a shared dice pool.
Yeah.
And, using that. So I always thought that was Troyes. I don't even know who is the designer of Troyes.
That would be the Pearl. I would like to call them the Pearl brothers. Alain Orban, Sebastian Dudarzine, and Javier Georges. That triple feature. The three co-founders of Pearl Games. Yeah, that is an excellent one. Now, some people might not think it's Feld because certainly another element of almost all Felds is none of this. No, I drink your milkshake type stuff. Now, I don't think of Troyes that way, but I know a lot of people do. So,
Okay. Cool.
Oh, Red Cathedral.
Oh yeah, Red Cathedral, totally.
Yes.
That's totally like a Feld game.
Yeah,
Good
that would be
call.
100%. Again, kind of on the lighter end of Feld, a central rondel where there's dice. You pick up a die that tells you how many steps you're going to move, and it's a rondel with triple use locations, because once you move on the rondel, based on what the die says, hey, you can interact with the guild that's there, or the core action that's there, or the die that ends up there, and you want to land in a place where there's lots of dice, so you get bigger explosive turns. It's really good. I highly recommend that one.
Yeah, great call. I think that's the winner right there. The Red Cathedral, very much like a Feld game.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, cool.
There's a few. I don't know if I've totally forgotten who we were doing this for.
That was for Goblin, I believe.
That was for Goblin. Okay, Victor, yes. I see Victory BHG is here too. He also had a request. Let me go back and find it. All right. Ooh, all right. I've got so many windows open. Where is that? Just calm down for a second.
Cool. And while you're looking that up, just some friends in chat talking about, Chwal was a good call. Red Cathedral they like. Yes. Other suggestions? Oh, St. Petersburg. I forgot about that game.
Oh my gosh, talk about a classic.
Yeah, that is a classic. West Lloyd says, I always thought St. Petersburg was a Feld, they say, but I think that's mostly the dusty Euro
Yeah, it looks like a Feld, definitely.
Yeah. You know, one thing about the St. Petersburg game always cracks me up? There's a character in there that looks just like Phil Collins. Remember the musician Phil Collins?
I do not recall thinking that. I do not recall, busting out Susudio or anything like that while we were playing.
Yeah, it's in the air tonight. You can go check it out.
Okay, so our other sommelier was from Victory BHG, who I know is here, and he said simply, Fantasy Flight. So I think that's kind of a request for, hey, rank your Fantasy Flights. What are your favorite Fantasy Flight games, right?
Okay.
If you could only get one Fantasy Flight game, what would it be? And I know for me, the answer is easy, and I don't think there's going to be any surprise anywhere when I say, of course, it's Marvel Champions.
Yep.
Although you have to be prepared to go down the rabbit hole on that one. Which all the Marvel Mutant stuff is just. I just started getting my Marvel Mutant stuff. I'm looking forward to playing that. But what else? What's your number one Fantasy Flight game?
Well, I think again, it's no surprise. Twilight Imperium for me. Fantasy Flight.
Of course.
But a close number two, actually, this is one I love, is Star Wars Rebellion. The best Star Wars game out there.
Would you say that is have you played all of those? They've got like 5 or 6 different Star Wars themed games, right?
Yeah.
Rebellion is the one that's the big, it's like the 4X kind of game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that captures the spirit the best. I liked Outer Rim, although it goes a little long for my taste.
That's the bounty hunter one, right?
It's basically pick up and deliver. So
pick up and deliver adventure game as opposed to civilization building, hidden movement type stuff. Yeah. Imperial Assault is
that's
fun. The dudes on a map. That's Descent in Star Wars, right?
Yep. And then I have not played. What's the one? Star Wars Armada. It's the big ships.
Oh, right, yeah, the big fleet
miniatures.
Battle thing.
The miniatures games I pretty much stay away from. I have played X-Wing miniatures, and that was fun for a minute, but it's not really my jam. Now I was wondering, you were talking about, what was the game you were just talking about? Marvel Champions.
Marvel Champs, yeah.
Are you continuing going down that? Because I know you've talked about how the complexity is really leveled up recently.
It makes me so sad that Jen will not play it with me anymore. I hope someday to convince her otherwise. I had to make a tough choice because honestly, I'm not a big fan of Marvel Mutants. I got nothing against them, but I've never really cared that much about the X-Men. I'm like, it's probably going to be X-Men for the next couple of years. Maybe this is the time for me just to get off and be happy with what I have, because I have a lifetime supply already, and I don't need to play as Wolverine or Storm or Cyclops or Kitty Pryde or Jean Grey or anything else. I've got them anyway, so if I'm gonna suffer through them, I guess I'll keep on going. Even if I have been a little disappointed, but still, if there's only one thing now, and unfortunately, the other Fantasy Flight games that really stand out to me, you can't get anymore. Space Hulk Death Angel is still one of the greatest roll-to-resolve cooperative combat games of all time. It is so perfect, but it'll never come back. I don't know why they don't bring it back with... Right, just bring it back as Star Wars. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Space Hulk Death Angel with the Star Wars theme? Forget about all this other Star Wars stuff you were just talking about. That would be so amazing. Like busting into the Death Star or something like that. And then the other one, I always loved Runebound 2nd Edition, and when they released the co-op module for Runebound 3rd Edition, I was blown away by it. And now it seems like it didn't catch on and it's curled up and died, and I don't think the world is ever going to be seeing Runebound again, which is too bad.
Oh, yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I try. Were you ever like a Arkham horror guy or anything?
No. What do you call it? Yeah. Elder Sign. I liked Elder Sign for a while. That was nice.
Yeah, that was a nice one too. I'm not really a big Cthulhu fan. I'm not really in that whole that IP that world. It's not really my thing. But I know a lot of people like Arkham horror.
Sure, and Eldritch horror too. Yeah.
Eldritch. Yep.
But yeah, but you just don't think those at all. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, it's just not really my thing. But I'm with you on the mutants thing. I was never like the biggest X-Men fan either, and all that. Perfectly fine, just not my thing. Let's see in chat here. People are giving some love for Marvel Champions.
Sure.
Twilight Inscription. Yeah, I'm a fan of the roll and write.
Apparently didn't pop into your head though. You have played it by now, I assume.
I have, yeah.
Okay.
I live streamed a game with some Twitch streamers. I got to join. I actually joined Brain in a Jar on their stream playing this with the guys from Board Game Barrage, the podcast. Yeah, Brain in a Jar, perfect timing. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't. There was a lot going on, but it wasn't as complex as I thought it could have been. So I thought it was a nice version of Twilight Imperium.
Yep. Let's see. So if you're not that into miniatures. Then you're gonna the Tolkien stuff, the War of the Ring, the Quest of the Ring. Yeah. I mean, Quest of the Ring is amazing. I mean, it's such a wonderful experience. But oh man, that ending. What about Battlestar Galactica / whatever Cthulhu thing they just turned it into?
Yeah. Was it Unfathomable? Was that it?
Yes, there you go. Unfathomable. Yeah.
I love Battlestar Galactica. That's one of my favorite experiences, gaming experiences ever. I love the tension of knowing that someone's going to become a Cylon, or if they're not already. I've always had a fun time with it. The only thing is, I mean, here I am talking about Twilight Imperium, how much I love it. I feel like Battlestar Galactica goes a little too long for what it is. Yeah, but a wonderful game, a great experience. People were talking about Cosmic Encounter. That one never hit with me. I know it's a really popular game.
Yeah.
How do you like Cosmic Encounter?
I've never played it. I can't imagine it's something I'd like. I mean, I would certainly, given the opportunity, I would try it, but it's not something I'd ever seek out.
Yeah, it fell flat with me. And same with people are talking about, let's see, Wiz War, Letters from Whitechapel. Again, I think they're perfectly fine games. Just they didn't hit with me or my gaming group. Yeah.
Oh, other card games, of course. Arkham Horror, the card game, I did think was very good. Yes. I could have imagined, even though I don't care about the subject matter, I could have imagined going down the rabbit hole on Arkham Horror, the card game, and I just chose not to. Yeah. Should have made that choice with Marvel Champions as well. But but then Lord of the Rings, the card game, which is excellent and is now coming back. They're doing some new 2.0 version of it where I guess it's mostly the same. I don't know if they tweak things. Those are really, really great. But even as good as those are, for me, it has to be Marvel Champions just because of my deep, abiding, lifelong love affair with Marvel. Android Netrunner, of course, and all the Android stuff. That's all nice if you like that sort of thing. I do not.
They recently announced, and I'm hyped about this. They're going to, I think is it Fantasy Flight? Now I got to look it up. But the Star Wars deck building game.
Really?
Star Wars. Yeah, let me make sure that's.
If anybody would, it would be them, presumably, right?
Right. They've got
working on that. Yeah. Now, Trashorama noted, and I was going to mention this too. You haven't said. I mean, a few years ago, Fantasy Flight was on a Knizia kick, where they were doing kind of deluxe versions of Knizia's big all-time greats, and they very quickly stopped doing that. And now other publishers are starting to pick up the Knizia torch, like 25th Century Games and whatnot. But do you hold near and dear to your heart any of those Knizia Fantasy Flight versions where Knizia meets plastic miniatures? A match made in heaven? I don't know. What do you think?
The one was it Samurai? Like my all-time favorite Knizia game was Samurai. I think was that a Fantasy Flight one?
They did a deluxe-y miniature heavy version of Samurai, one of Raw, Tigris and Euphrates, and then a full-on sequel to Tigris and Euphrates. I think they did that one too.
Yeah, Yellow and Yangtze. That one was terrific. Yeah, the samurai version. I still have the original samurai, and then when I played the new one, I preferred my older one better. The OG,
The
just with a
classic with those
yeah,
cool
the black
abstract
resin.
art pieces.
Yeah, I was perfectly fine with those. It's such a brilliant game. By the way, folks, a happy, I declared earlier this month that it is a Reiner Knizia month because his birthday is tomorrow.
Oh,
So
really?
happy Reiner Knizia month, everybody. Play Knizia games.
Yes, everybody, get out your favorite Knizia and play
Yeah.
tomorrow. That
Yeah.
to celebrate. I mean, geez, Louise, that guy. Well, I don't know what's up with his brain. That
Yeah.
And does he do it full time yet, or is he still by day a mild mannered government accountant or whatever it is that he does, or a professor?
Wasn't he like
or
a math professor or something?
Yeah,
I thought
something
he was a
like
math
that.
professor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's been doing the game design thing full time for years.
Okay,
I believe.
all right.
But I don't know. I need to find these things out about my favorite designer. Yeah, so that's why I've been playing a lot of Lost Cities on
Sure.
Board Game Arena, just because. Yeah, I'm gonna play as many Knizia games as I can this month in
All right.
honor of the man, the myth. I just checked. Yes, Star Wars Battle for the Galaxy. It is the new deck building game by Fantasy Flight. I am all in on that, folks.
Do you know
I cannot
anything
wait.
about what it's like?
So I don't know the thing. The
Is it
the one
Star
comparison
Realmsy
I
kind
have-
of a thing, a head-to-head?
Yeah, it's
Punch
sort of
and
like
kick.
Star Realmsy,
all right.
very much. Yeah, so I know it's not really your jam, but unless they come up with a co-op variant, who knows? You know. Cool. So yeah, that we just ranked a bunch of Fantasy Flight games. So
All right, there you go.
folks.
But again, amongst all that, I mean, it was pretty. We buried the lead. The number one and number two Fantasy Flight games of all time, of course, are Marvel Champions
Imperium.
and Twilight Imperium.
Yes.
Or Twilight Inscription if you don't have the time, I suppose.
There you go. Yeah,
There you go.
that's fair.
Okay.
All right. What else we got to do?
Let's see. Okay. Hey, nobody's asked about trivia for a while, and Wesseloid did. Let me bring out the wheel, if I remember how to
Okay.
do that. All righty. I need to refresh this page because I wasn't expecting that, and then I need to find the wheel, and I need to show it, and then I need to bury your head under it. And we haven't done this for a while, but 50-50 chance. Start thinking of some trivia, buddy. It's gonna go my way, I'm sure. And now, what was the button?
It's been a while since
spin?
I've had to do. Oh man, do I have anything to share?
We'll come up with something.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll think of something. Okay.
Oh,
there it is.
too bad. So sad. It is
Okay.
Ruel time. Ruel, tell us something interesting about yourself.
Oh boy. Have I talked about my first real job?
Yes, you did. You did do that.
I did.
You've also
Okay,
talked about having dinner with John Cleese.
I've done that one. Okay, well there goes two of my stories.
How did you meet Michelle? I don't think a lot of people know about
Yeah, we have
the romance for the ages there.
Yeah. So Richard, do you know how I met Michelle?
I kind of dimly recall because I know you told me at one point, and I knew you were
think we
young,
talked-
but I do not remember any specifics.
Yeah, talk about young. We were in the second grade when
Jeez
Michelle and I first
Louise,
met.
okay.
Yeah. Second grade. So we went to the same elementary school from second until fifth grade, and then her father got a job. Her father actually it was out of the country, so they moved out of the country for a few years. Then they came back, and we went to the same middle school for I think eighth grade, and then after that, never saw each other again for so many years. And turns out
Did you like each other in second grade?
We were friends, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
we were friends. And here's the thing: I actually thought she was really cute in the eighth grade. I rember that. She doesn't remember that. But
Eighth grade, so that would mean you're like 11, 12-ish. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I thought she was cute. But then, we lived our lives. We each married, divorced. She had.
Whoa, that I didn't know.
Yeah. You didn't know I was married before? Oh, yeah. There's another fun fact.
Wow. Okay.
So then I went to my high school reunion, and a mutual friend of ours, our friend April, I saw at my high school reunion. She's like, "Hey, do you ever talk to Michelle?" And I was like, "Michelle? Oh, I haven't talked about her in years." We all had dinner together a few months later just to, reconnect. And
was this
Michelle
at the high school reunion? No, you went to high school reunion. Didn't see Michelle there. Oh, because she
Correct.
didn't go to high school. You guys split up
she
before junior high.
Exactly.
But a mutual friend said, "Hey, have you heard from Michelle?" And you had not seen her since 12 years old.
Exactly.
But you remembered her.
Oh, I remembered her. Yeah, I totally remembered her. So, we all met together for a little group dinner a few months later, and then Michelle and I, we hit it off. We, became friends, started emailing each other. one thing led to another. We became friends on Facebook, and from there, it just developed into a romance. And here we are later, married. I think we're married now 9 years, I believe.
That's amazing.
So it really is, and I am so fortunate to have her in my life. She's an amazing woman, and I can't. It's funny how life. We sort of, I guess, came full circle from second grade to now. So
I know, yeah, it was obviously in the stars. It was fated to be. Would have been more interesting if you'd been hated each other's guts or something like that for the whole time.
That's like a total movie right there. That's a romantic comedy movie there. But
the Hollywood version will have to be get some touch-ups, get a little bit more zazz,
a little more
there.
oomph. Yeah. I already know who I'd like for me to play me in the movie. I want Denzel Washington. He's my favorite actor of all time. He looks nothing like me, but he's just my favorite actor of all time.
I would like to see Denzel Washington with that beard. Sure.
Right? I think you could do it. But yeah, there's your trivia, folks. Thank you for asking. Thank you for listening. I will come up with more stuff for next time when the wheel is spun.
Well, that was because by the next time the wheel is spun, it'll be refilled again. Alrighty, what else have we got? Show me what you got. All right. We have only one request for Ruel ranks, 2 top 3 requests, and 3 this or that requests.
Oh, you know how much we love those this or that. Yeah. I think we could bang them all out at once.
Okay, let's do an epic this or that. 3 this or that's worth. Alrighty. So, folks, in case you don't know what this or that is all about, you throw 2 things that may be alike, may be different. We tell you this or that. And just start throwing them at us. Ruel will see the ones he likes. He will tell them to me. Hopefully they will be able to be put on screen while we're waiting for you to get going. I've just gone to a random one, and I'm scrolling down. And hey, Ruel. Okay. America's Got Talent or American Idol?
Oh, man. So I've watched probably one episode of each.
Well, then you have to choose, because I have not watched either of them.
Yeah, I'll go with America's Got Talent only because it's more than just music. American Idol's music. America's Got Talent or whatever is all kinds of
more
different
of a broadband. That's good.
Novelty acts. Yeah, so I'll go with that one. What about you?
Okay. I think you sold me. I mean, having never watched either of them, I'd probably want to see more variety of talent.
Okay.
Simpsons or Family Guy?
Oh, man. I've got to go old school. I'm more of a Simpsons fan, only because I've watched more Simpsons over my lifetime than Family Guy. I like them both. They're both very funny, but give me the Simpsons.
Yep. Okay. If you had to, skydiving or bungee jumping? I've done both. Oh, man.
Have you really?
Yes, I have.
I'm terrified of both.
That's why I said if you have to.
If I have to, here's the thing: bungee jumping, you do have that safety net, sort of. Oh man, I'll go bungee jumping. Yeah.
Here's the deal: bungee jumping, in my experience, is much harder. Is much more terrifying, because the first time you go skydiving, you're going to be tandem diving, which means you are literally just strapped to a professional. And when we did this, and we got up there, and the door opens for the plane, and I was the first one out, because I guess I was the biggest or something like that, and he shouts in your ear, "Put your feet on the wing!" And I'm like, oh, geez, I'm so terrified. I'm going to die. And it's like, take your hand off the door! And then boom, we're gone. And then we tumble a little bit, we straighten out, and then it's just like, and so there's like this brief moment of fear, but you've got somebody shouting in your ear. You really have no agency. Bungee jumping, on the other hand, which I did, Jen, I did Circus in Las Vegas. I think they've got, we figured, hey, if we're ever going to do this, let's do it here, because it's set up year round. It's not some fly-by-night thing just doing it off of a bridge, and who knows if they have permits. This has been clearly tested, and they've been doing it without accidents for years. So we did it, and here's the problem. You get out to the edge, you look down, and no one's making you do anything. You have to do it 100% yourself. It's 100%. Wow. Okay, and the thing is, again, when we did it, I was the first in line. I do not know why. And so there was Jen and like a half a dozen other people just like staring. I'm terrified. Why did I say this? This is not worth the money. I don't want to do. Oh man, look at all these people. I'm being so rude. And we actually have a video of it. And I don't do any kind of big wah. I just kind of melt off the edge because I'm so terrified. And it was It was terrifying because, because you have no control. You have to
Yeah.
do, or you have total control, I should say. It's a voluntary
Wow.
thing. And so if I were to do one again, I would definitely skydive again, because the problem I had when I skydived is about halfway down, my goggles came off. And so I was having to squint
Oh.
the entire time
Oh
because there's a
no.
lot of wind. So that's it. But by now, I think we have some people asking questions too.
Yes. Okay. Wow. Both sound so terrifying to me.
Yeah, very.
Okay, Kabuki is asking Mexican food or Italian food. This is easy for me. Mexican food all the way.
Probably. I would probably go with that too. I love Italian food too. And you know what? If I had to pick just one dish, if you could have one Mexican or one Italian, would you still take Mexican? I think there are certain Italian dishes that I love more than anything in the Mexican, south of the border repertoire. But on broad strokes, I'd probably want more stuff out of Mexican food.
Agreed. Yeah. Give me. Oh man, that's a really good way of looking at it. It's more difficult because broadly
Your
speaking,
favorite Italian or your
food.
favorite Mexican? Yeah.
Yeah. Because I love noodles, pasta.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I could have one dish, that's tough. But overall, Mexican food, for sure.
Yep. All right.
Okay. So we'll go on the food thing here. Cheesecake or apple pie?
Apple pie.
Apple pie for sure.
100%. I like cheesecake. Yep. Cheesecake is nice, but cheesecake doesn't go well with ice cream. And really, pie is just a vehicle for ice cream.
There you go.
Got to have that all.
And just something about, you got the hot apples inside and that crispy crust on the outside. Oh, I love that.
You know what? We just got back, every week we go down and visit Jen's folks down in Salem. Like I said, it's a 3-hour round trip drive. And we went out to Sherry's for lunch. Have you ever been to a Sherry's? Have you been to a Sherry's in a long time?
What is a Sherry's? I've
Sherry's,
never heard of
it's like a Denny's style nationwide friend. It's very American diner style, sit down restaurant kind of thing. And their main thing, they're known for their pies. You know what they're doing, Ruel? They're putting pies and blending them into milkshakes.
What?
And
really?
I had a slice of Dutch apple pie blended into a milkshake, and it was just about the best freaking milkshake I ever had in my life.
Whoa. Wow. So you get the ice cream already built into your apple pie. That's interesting.
Yeah, I guess they kind of half fill the big metal thing up with their normal vanilla stuff, and then they put the pie in, and then they blend it all up, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. We were all blown away.
Wow. Okay. I need to try that. That sounds wonderful.
I imagine there must be some not too far from you. I think maybe they're only West Coast. I'm not sure if they're East Coast, but
yeah, I've never been to one. So, okay, here we'll change it up a little bit. Let's go. Carlin or Pryor? Talking about American comedians.
Wow, that's interesting.
I love them both.
Sure.
Gosh.
I will probably go with Pryor because I'm extending it. You just immediately think, oh, they're stand-up, but I'm going to extend into the movies.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, the greatest comedy duo from the mid-'70s to the early '80s. Yeah, some of the greatest, such a huge part of my childhood. So, yeah, it would have to be Pryor.
Yeah. But Carlin is so good.
Sure.
Carlin, Pryor's,
I think I would probably go with Carlin for stand-up.
I think, if you're talking stand-up, I think Pryor might have had, the better peak, couple of years. Yeah. Where he was, on point. But Carlin, I think, had the longer career. Yeah, steady. Yep. So, this is so tough. I'll probably lean towards Carlin, but just by a nose, folks. Really, really close race. Let's talk about some games. Terra Mystica or Gaia Project?
Gaia Project. Easy.
I would say Gaia Project, but I haven't played it. I've only played Terra Mystica, which I enjoyed a lot. But
Gaia. Here's the thing. Gaia Project is Terra Mystica set in space, but everything is modular. Every time you set up, you get a completely new board, a completely new layout, completely new. Terra Mystica has that too, with all the different objectives and whatnot. But imagine, the level of replayability that Terra Mystica has, but with a completely modular board too. I just find it much more engaging to go back and say, oh my gosh, wow, this is such a different vibe. Now, some people much prefer Terra Mystica. Those are the hardcore players who view Terra Mystica the way chess aficionados view chess. Yeah. They want that static board. They want it to be the same every time so they can see how things evolve. But I love the variety. Plus, Gaia Project is 10,000 times better as a 2-player game.
Okay.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would assume that I would like Gaia Project better. It's I have not been able to play it, but hopefully one of these days. Here's a funny one from this is A Rising. Sprayed by a skunk or bitten by a snake?
Well, if it's a non-poisonous snake, of course I'll take bitten by a snake.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, they're sharp teeth. You hardly even notice. I mean, they're like it's like getting a shot. Rather than have to stink for the rest of the day and scrub all that out, and you'll still be smelling it days later.
Yeah.
Now, if it leads to complications, not fatal, but just like, oh yeah, that's going to hit you hard. You're going to be laid up for a while. Your leg's going to be completely swollen, the size of a watermelon. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably the more fair.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd still rather be bitten by a snake. I have been sprayed by a skunk, and I don't want that to happen again. So, for no other reason, just for variety's sake, I would like to get bitten by a snake.
Well, I have like an Indiana Jones fear of snakes. That's like, I hate snakes. So, sprayed by a skunk. So, when you got sprayed by a skunk, did you have to like take a bath right away and just sit in the bath all day?
I was a kid.
What do you do?
I must have been, I don't know. It was still, we were living in Knight's Landing. And it was when we lived in Knight's Landing as a kid, my parents bought my brother and I some cheap used motorcycles. I had a Yamaha 100cc. He had a little Suzuki 50cc. He was a few years younger than me. And every weekend we would get to go out to there was just this place out in the country that was just nothing but really great jumps for riding a motorbike. And there was a bit of a forest, and I got off the bike at one point to go take a pee in the forest, and I startled the skunk, and boom, it just got me immediately.
Oh, man.
And like, oh, wow, this like makes your eyes water. It's so bad.
Oh.
And so, no, I didn't do anything immediately because we got back on the motorbike and I kept biking around. So, I mean, mostly I could still smell it though for the rest of the day. And I had to ride it back in the back of the truck with the motorcycles the way home. And I don't remember the particulars of how it got scrubbed out of me. So I don't remember. I mostly just remember the moment itself. Yeah.
Wow. I don't want to experience either of those. So, what about X-Men or Justice League?
Wow, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those are both of my second and third and fourth tier superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would say X-Men in that case. Just because, I mean, obviously they were created, as an allegory to racism and social inequality, and that's way, and so what Marvel was doing with them was much more interesting than just, I guess we just have a bunch of these characters. Let's just throw them all together and, and just, get grandfathered into pop culture. So, I would definitely take X-Men. I mean, and to be fair, I did used to read, I never really got into X-Men that much. I did read New Mutants a lot back when I was in high school. Back when Bill Sienkiewicz was the artist, and it was just so weird and explosive and bizarre. Warlock the robot was just like, every frame he was in was just like he was consuming the frame of the, So X-Men, I would think.
Yeah, that's exactly where I fall in it. X-Men, they truly felt like a team, whereas like Justice League, here's all the greatest superheroes, you throw them together and see what happens. Yeah. Whereas X-Men, you got the school for mutants and stuff, and
plus with Justice League, you always want, why does any of this exist? Because there's Superman, and then there's some people to clean up, and really Superman can handle, I mean, I'm not the biggest. I mean, Superman. Why, Ruel? Why do they? Every time they reboot the DC universe, they do it like every few years. I keep wondering, when are you just gonna make Superman a normal superhero instead of a freaking god? If you're rebooting, you can do it, or let him build to that, and they never do. I don't understand why that has to be so woven in. It's not where he started. He couldn't even fly at the beginning. He literally leapt over tall buildings. So I never get that.
Yeah. I don't either. Again, we're both more Marvel guys than DC guys to begin with. So, what about British original TV or American remakes?
Oh,
wow.
The
first one I think of was The Office.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's the obvious. That is the poster child. And there is no better example of the British. And honestly, it is because of Office that I will say American remakes. I've watched both the American and the British Office all the way through, and I very much loved and respected the British Office, but it is cold and bitter. It is angry comedy. And it's interesting, the first season of the American Office tried to replicate that, but they quickly realized this just isn't our vibe. And when they started making Michael Scott, a sympathetic character who you actually understood why he was so awkward and you cared for him. I mean, I could never go back to David Brent, who was just like, oh no, we just like laughing at him because he's a monster. I mean, and the fundamental juxtaposition in terms of there's much. I mean, there is interesting storytelling and drama and pathos in the British Office, but It cannot compare to the lofty heights of the American Office at the end of the day, because they are unabashedly sentimental. If British stuff is sentimental, it's so but we're really mocking this while we're doing it. We were talking down to it, whereas America embraces it. I guess maybe I'm an American. It's part of national culture. The whole stiff upper lip and all that. And so for me, American, I would say. Of course, there's exceptions. I mean, and honestly, I'm trying to think of any other example. I mean, what other examples do we have to go for?
I can't even think. Those are the two that come to my mind. And, I think you hit on the head. It's a cultural thing. It's the difference between American culture and British culture. Now, one show I haven't seen that has not been remade here in the States, and I don't want to see it. There was a wonderful show years ago called Spaced. And it was starring Simon Pegg.
Of course.
He played...
and Nick Frost. I mean, it's it's them coming together, and it's... they're in an apartment, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I highly recommend that because they do so many things they riff on like a lot of American pop culture. There's like a ton of Star Wars references, Star Trek, all kinds of like comic book stuff. Folks, if you've never seen Spaced, check it out. It might be on Amazon, I'm not sure, but this was Simon Pegg before he got famous. Edgar Wright was the director. So they teamed up later for like Shaun of the Dead, the Cop one and At World's End, all kinds of great stuff. So check that out. I hope they don't make it in America.
I just went and found a list, and a lot of these shows I don't know. I have seen both the British and American Whose Line Is It Anyway? British, 7 Ways to Sunday. I did enjoy that. I couldn't watch the American one. Let's see. Queer as Folk, I have not seen either of them, I have to admit, or the In-Betweeners, have not seen either of them. Of course, there's the American Idol, and all those things get exported the other way. There was a U.S. remake of the IT Crowd? No, there wasn't. I did not know that. That's crazy.
Something just came to mind. The greatest, here it is. This will end the argument right here. In America, we had a show called Three's Company. That was a remake of a British show called Man About the House or something like that.
Oh, really?
Three's Company, by far the better show. Jack Tripper, John Ritter, classic comedian. The show doesn't really hold up well. It's a product of its times, or early 80s or whatever. But his physical comedy, genius. And I don't think... honestly, I've never seen the other one, but I'm just going to say Three's Company because it's the American one.
Oh, one more. Veep is... I mean, it's the same creative forces behind Veep did the original British equivalent of it, and I cannot remember the British show. Oh, what is Veep a remake of? Veep...
No, the HBO show with, what's her name? Okay. I didn't know that was a remake.
Well, it's new characters and whatnot. The thick of it. I've seen both of them. I was so in love with the thick of it, and I loved Veep. And honestly, and again, and this is interesting because it is literally the same creative forces behind both shows. It's transplanted the idea of looking at a bunch of woefully incompetent public officials, in a small, like inconsequential, very frustrated because they can't really make a difference, and they're all at each other's throats. And they brought it over to the vice presidency in the United States, and they're both fantastic. They're both equally funny. And again, Veep didn't do it as much as The Office, but Veep sometimes does get sentimental. Sometimes does actually try to paint these characters in a sympathetic light that in the thick of it never does. And I almost wonder if they got notes from the American producers. Hey, you got to give us at least one character to like here. I mean, this isn't in England anymore. We don't hate watch. Although, heck, maybe these days, maybe Americans are more primed to hate watching nowadays than they were back in the day. But if I had to pick, I would probably pick Veep over The Thick of It too. And The Thick of It is fantastic.
Okay.
So there we go.
All right, folks.
All right, more. We got more because we're doing 3 of these in one setting.
This is interesting. Ruckus says pool billiard or swimming pool. Oh, Okay, a pool or a pool. Interesting.
All right, so playing billiards, playing pool, table pool, or swimming in a pool. Pool. Playing pool. Billiards. Table.
Yeah,
Uh,
same billiards.
yeah.
Pool, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of chlorine.
Yeah.
And all of it. If it's a public pool, you're always worried about the pee.
Yep.
Whereas pool is just a good, solid time. I always love playing whenever I get a chance.
Yeah, and I think I was traumatized as a kid because we had a swimming pool for at my parents' home, and guess who had to clean it
Oh,
regularly?
sure. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
me and my brothers had to, so like, yeah, pool's fun until you got to clean it every week.
Yeah.
And,
A pool table
yeah.
does not need much upkeep.
exactly.
Yep.
Here's a time travel question: Bill and Ted or Back to the Future? I know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I guess it's Back to the Future.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be.
The flux capacitor, the DeLorean. Come on.
Yeah. I'm trying to come up with an argument in favor of Bill and Ted, but I don't think I can do it. And I really did like the new Bill and Ted that came out a couple of years ago.
Oh, did you really? I didn't watch it.
I liked it quite a bit. I thought it was actually fairly emotionally impactful. Those silly goofball characters had to come to terms with getting old.
Cool.
Maybe it has some meaning for me.
I'm curious. I want to see the new Clerks movie because I think they touched on similar things.
Oh,
You
yes.
It's like Clerks
my gosh,
3 or 4
I have
whatever.
seen the new Clerks movie.
Oh, you have?
I
Okay.
have, and I mean, if you are a fan of Kevin Smith and Kevin Smith dialogue and Kevin Smith comedy, it delivers on that. And yeah, it says, "Where are your heartstrings? Give them to me!" Boom, and pulls them as hard as it possibly can.
Okay.
In a good way.
Yeah.
I did find
need to see that.
Very good. I mean, it's the same, still kind of weird. Okay, this is very heightened dialogue. This doesn't sound like real people talking at all. Much the same way that Aaron Sorkin dialogue doesn't. But I don't care. I mean, because it's just fun to listen to and revisit all those characters.
And the writing is so clever, and it does not sound like anything anyone talks like, but it's very clever and really well done. And why don't we move on to race game, video or board game for a race game?
One of my favorite video games of all time is Need for Speed Most Wanted.
I don't think I played that one.
Oh yeah, I mean it spawned. I mean the first one for Xbox 360. It spawned a whole series of them. But I know. I mean it's anything video game. Is there anything, Ruel, that you can think of that you would rather experience in video game form than board game form? Because for me, I can't think of one. Can you think of something?
Yeah, I'm an analog guy through and through.
Yeah.
Honestly, the last race game I played was Mario Kart for video games. With my
nephew.
I
mean, Mario Kart versus Quest for El Dorado.
It's Knizia month. I'm going Quest for El Dorado.
Okay, Mario Kart.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. I literally. Is there anything that I would rather experience in video game form with a controller in my hand, feet up, watching the TV, as opposed to sitting down at the table with Jen? I don't think there is. I can't. Maybe I just have limited imagination. I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Said the guy who worked in the video game industry for 20 years and
grew
up playing video games and defined his existence based on video games.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there it is, folks.
All right.
There you go, Ruckus. Thanks.
Well,
all right.
I would say that's 3 episodes worth, all crammed into one, and it's just about 1 o'clock, so we got to start doing the show.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. But first, we have to give $50 to one lucky winner. Let me go ahead and find the browser. There we go. All right, there we go. Shuffle them up a few more times. And this is going to be a $50 gift certificate to Fun Again Games for one lucky winner. Let's see who it is.
Good luck, everybody. Oh, wow. There's a lot of names on the wheel this time. Who'd you got?
Ken Costin. Ken Costin. Congratulations.
Woo-hoo.
All right.
Good job, Ken.
Yep. All right, Ken, I will be contacting you this afternoon, and we will get that information to you, and just in time. Actually, so here's the weird thing. Before we go, let me check my email, because we have gotten, folks, an advanced sneak peek at the sales prices that Fun Again Games is going to be doing for their Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. And we've got, because it'll go up, a bunch of games will just be instantly gone. Some of them will stick around, and we're going to say, well, these are the ones we really want. Although, let's see, of my 5, I think 4 of them are from that sale list, and then there's one new one. I think you said you had something like 3 and 2 or something like that.
Yep.
Right.
That's right.
But the thing is, I don't know when this sale is actually happening. And I would like to be able to say that because we're actually revealing our answers before the sale starts. And I wrote an email and there is no answer. So I'm going to have to wait. I will have to edit that information in after the fact. That's okay. Let's see here. Before we do any of that, though, let's battle to the death.
All right.
All righty. And folks, while you are ripping each other apart, we need to come up with a secret word for the next episode that we're about to record.
Oh, yeah. All right. What did we talk about so far in the pre-show? Folks, if you have a suggestion for a secret word, drop it in the chat and maybe we'll use your word. We talked about all kinds of stuff. Comic books, movies, games.
Skunks.
Talked about skunks and snakes and skydiving and bungee jumping, all kinds of good stuff. Let us know.
Yep.
Kabuki's suggesting skunk, which I think that would be a good one. Can I work it into one here? Let's see. What else you got, folks? Skunk.
Boy, it's kind of weird trying to jump into the middle of this if I hadn't been narrating it right from the get-go. Kabuki Kid at 50% health, chasing down AG Fox, just misses the health pack that could have cinched it for her. And then Goblin, Kabuki throw down. Kabuki survives, moves on. Goblin knows where the bread is buttered, picks up the health pack. And is Kabuki going for the other health pack? Yes, she is. Oh my goodness, folks. But Wesseloid is picking up a health pack as well. This could go. It's a 3-way Titanic battle from the smartest avatars. Kabuki takes out her opponent. Kabuki, the literal Star-Lord, up against Wesseloid. Old man time, and we'll see how it shakes out. Punch, and Kabuki gets a backstabber. Whoa, Wesseloid.
Nice,
Triumphant.
Wesseloid.
I see Kabuki shouting in the chat, come at me, bro. And Wesseloid did. Boom went the dynamite. Boom came down the old man beard staff. All right, that was pretty cool.
Nice.
All right.
I like Kabuki's suggestion of skunk for the secret word because I can work it into one of my games.
Okay, then I'm sold. Hey, one less thing I have to worry about.
Yeah.
Okay, so, folks, listen for Ruel to say skunk at some point. Make a note of what game we were talking about on the top 10 at that point, and we'll talk about the rest in the actual show, just in case this is your first time. Let's see, has anything else happened? Let's see here. Oh, we have another request for a top 3 from Ruckus McAllis. I mean, we're going to do the show, we're going to do some Q&A, but we've got so much stuff backed up. Maybe we should do something other than QA afterwards. But we'll worry about that at the end. Skunk is the secret word. I need to put the new stuff on the screen. Boop. And boom, put that up. Oh, no, not that button. I'm pushing every wrong button I can. There it is. That thing up there. Okay, the secret word is skunk. Oh, right, okay. Don't need the send the name thingy yet. Need the normal find all. You know, the reason that is always the find all the episodes at R&R is because you did that in like our second episode when we made a playlist. You just started putting that at the bottom of the screen, and so we continue to do that to this day.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
Let's see. I stand corrected, Kabuki. Yes, you did not, in fact, say bro. You just said, come at me, lol, LOL, and I misread it as bro. Come at me, lol. It doesn't quite have the same impact, but I stand dutifully corrected. Okay. Let's see here. Do I have your list? Yes, I do, as a bunch of bit.ly links. I've got mine as a bunch of other stuff. Right. We've got the... Oh, come here. Oh, did my mouse just die? My mouse just died?
Oh, no.
It surely did. Wow.
So many batteries.
Yeah, it's a rechargeable.
Oh.
All right. I do... Where's my... I have a USB cable. Where is it? It should be right over there. It must have fallen down. I can't even switch over to full screen well. Entertain the folks while I find my power cord for my mouse. Oh, no.
Okay, cool. No worries. Folks, you get to hang out with me for a few minutes. Drop something in chat. Let's talk. Let me see. What Y'all know I'm in the Airbnb. We're slowly but surely. We're finishing up our move, so we'll be out of here soon, thankfully. But let me know what games y'all are playing. Anything good? I've got a run through of Star Wars: The Clone Wars that I'm working on. That'll be here on the channel real soon. Hopefully, when I get back to home, I'll film that either later than probably sometime this week. Let's see. Victory BHG says, Ruel, any recommended solo campaign games? My favorite experience for well, not solo. I was thinking Clank Legacy, the Acquisitions Incorporated. That was a wonderful Legacy game. But as far as solo campaigns, you know what I'm doing? This is sort of a campaign. Oh, you're back. Okay, cool. I'll keep going. The Overboss, Boss Monster Adventure. It's a tile laying game. They actually have a campaign that you can solo. It's more of it's not really a narrative campaign. It's more like a bunch of objectives you're trying to complete. I've really enjoyed that. There's also a solo campaign in Bandada. It is it's a bird game played by 1 or 2 players. Really quick game, but they also include a solo campaign. So you're going to go to different continents, try to see different birds. I'm looking forward to playing that. I love that game, but I haven't played the solo campaign yet. So that one I'm looking forward to. Let's see. Anyone else here? Oh, AG Fox, wife and played Splendor Duel over the weekend. Was much enjoyed. Yeah. Michelle and I, we're still playing Splendor Duel. It is wonderful. One of my favorite games of the year, in fact. And we're having a fun with it. Michelle and I, we're calling Splendor Duel Splendor Duel, so it rhymes with Ruel. I don't know why. That's just one of the things we're doing. Let's see. Anyone else? Got the Goblin says I got the second Architects West Kingdom expansion. Nice. I like it, but it's quite a bit heavier. Yeah, that I remember the second expansion really did make that game a little more crunchy. And now that I think about it, I think Architects was a good solo game. Do they have? I don't know if they have a campaign game for that, but I really enjoyed it solo. Let me see.
My mouse is working again.
It is working. Okay, cool. Okay, I was talking about solo campaign games.
I'm sorry. What?
All right. I was talking about solo campaign games with our friends in chat here, and yeah, I was just talking about Overboss, the Boss Monster Adventure, the tile laying game. They actually have a solo campaign that you can play through. It's not really a narrative thing, but it's got like different objectives you can go through and stuff, which I'm really enjoying. I'm almost done with it.
Excellent. But we're done with that now. We're here to record the show.
Let's do the show.
Now that my mouse is up and at 'em again. And skunk is a secret word. Oh, I need to get the top 10. No, I need to get banner.txt. I need to use my little whoosy-majig to keep it on top so it doesn't fall behind things. Alrighty. Okay. And unfortunately, I now have this cable that is just going to, as I swipe around, it's going to knock all this stuff that's on this game that's in front of me, which I would have put away this morning. I filmed, this is Pest. A game coming on Kickstarter pretty soon, and I filmed it last night, and I was going to put it away, but I'm waiting to hear back from the publisher in case I got a couple things wrong and I need to film some inserts. So that's why it's just spread all over the place, and now that there's this cord moving back and forth, it's just destroying the countryside as I move it around, but that's going to be okay. Okay, I think... Cool. Let's move that a little bit further away. Yeah, there we go. Ugh, that's annoying. But I don't have to mouse too terribly much. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. You're ready to go. Obviously, you've confirmed the audience is ready to go.
They are good to go, yes.
Okay, then. Let's see. Where do we go? What is it? It's that. All right. One more sip of water. Here we go.
Okay. I'll do the same.
All right. Good idea. Always be sure to hydrate, folks.
Hydrate with us, folks.
Yep. Oh, and by the way, folks, while we're filming, we're going to stop doing any back and forth with the audience, but during that time, if you have any questions, put them in the chat, starting with a question mark, so that we'll know about them and we can do a little bit of Q&A afterwards. If there isn't much Q&A, hey, we got a bunch of other segments we can do too. That's all cool, Daddy-O. All right, you ready to go? Real.
Yes, sir.
Hey, everybody. This episode of the R&R Show is brought to you by Fun Again Games. Hello, Ruel. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, Richard. How are you?
Not as good as you, because I hear there's good news, everyone, in the Gaviola household, correct?
Yes, we are. This is the Airbnb. I'm going to be saying au revoir, goodbye, so long to this thing. Real soon, we're going to be back at home. I'm going to be rebuilding the studio, so it'll be a little while till we get all our stuff back, but the plumbing issues are taken care of. The restoration has been completed. Yay, we're going home. I cannot wait to just sleep in my own bed for every night from now on, because the bed we had here at the Airbnb was probably the low point of
Really?
the situation. Yeah, it's an old bad mattress, and it's like,
Oh
ugh.
no.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to just spending the night at home. But just being at home, the pugs are gonna have the pugs have enjoyed their time here, but it's time for us to all go home, and we're so excited. And I do want to thank everyone, all the viewers and everyone in chat who have sent some best wishes to me and Michelle, and also through your DMs as well. We truly do appreciate that. I share them with Michelle, so thank you for your support and for your kindness during these rough almost 3 months. It's been way
Yeah.
too long, but
Yeah.
yeah. But thankfully, I was able to work on this little desk and do some run-throughs, not only here for the channel but also on my Twitch channel. And speaking of games, we got plenty of games to talk about in this episode
Yes,
of the
we do.
R&R
We're
Show.
going to be talking about 10 games because, well, folks, you may not have noticed, but the end of the year is almost upon us. And one of the things that happens at the end of the year, certainly in the States, although these days I think it's probably a worldwide phenomenon, is a thing called Cyber Monday, which is when all of the online retailers out there start putting out big super sales. They're big sales of the year. And this episode is sponsored by Fun Again Games, frequent sponsor of the show. They're going to be doing a Cyber Monday sale. At this point, I do not know the date it starts, because one thing is, year after year, the Cyber Monday sales start starting on Sundays, and then Saturdays, and then the previous Mondays. So, I'll put somewhere on the screen when I find out exactly when this sale is starting. But Ruel and I got an advanced sneak peek at the games that are going to be on sale and the prices. And we decided to say, hey, what would be the top 10 games we'd buy right now when this sale is going on? And there's going to be info down in the show notes and all of that. So, I've got some very big savers. I think Ruel has a few too. But before we get to that, folks, in case any of these pique your curiosity and you might want to pick some up, well, Ruel, is there any way we could help them out with that?
Oh, we could definitely help them out with that. Folks, you're going to watch the show. You're going to listen, keeping an ear out for one of us. We're going to say a secret word. And if you type in the name of the game we're talking about when we say the secret word and send it to an email to contest@rahdo.com, you'll be entered to win a gift certificate for, I believe it's $50. Is that correct?
$50 US.
There it is. Yes. So the secret word this time is skunk. So why skunk? You'll have to watch the extended edition of the show when we stream this live on Twitch. This is all up on YouTube as well. But we talk about that before the actual recording of this show. So skunk, one of us, Richard or myself, will be saying it. And then you type in the name of the game that we're talking about at that time, send it to an email to contest@rahdo.com, and you'll be entered to win that gift certificate.
You got it, folks. And heck, you could get several games with that $50 based on the prices I've got on my list. So,
yeah.
Without any further ado, Ruel, do you have anything more to say? Are you ready to get right to our number 10 on the list, I wonder?
Yeah, let's jump right into it. We're ready to save some people some money, and we've got some great games. My number 10, to kick things off, as our number 10 is Canvas. Now,
okay.
This is on sale over here at Fun Again Games. I got to play this game for the first time last year, and for me, it was an immediate hit. I love this game. It takes card crafting, does something really neat. It's like the most beautiful card crafting game I've seen. Now, if you're familiar with card crafting, you'll think Mystic Vale from John D. Clare. You'll also think his other game, Dead Reckoning, which was just came out. Canvas is a lighter game than that, but I will argue it's 10 times as beautiful as those games. You are building a canvas, bringing different elements of colors and shapes and stuff, and you're literally building a canvas, a piece of art there through drafting and set collection. Wonderful game. Plays in about, I'd say, like 30, 40 minutes or so. And I love what they did to card crafting here. I think it's a very neat way to do a set collection game. You're putting colors and shapes into one little sleeve with these transparent sleeves. And as you do, you can see there are certain objectives or goals that you want to complete, like certain colors or certain shapes or whatever need to go here. And it's such a good game. And I believe it's been on Kickstarter a couple of times. They might have had a couple of reprints.
I think there might be a fundraising campaign for it literally still running right now, although it might have just ended for a new expansion that adds more stuff.
Gotcha. And this game is ripe for an expansion because I think the base game, which is on sale right now, I think it's a wonderful game. But I always thought that for people who are deeper into the hobby, an expansion would really take this into the next level.
Yeah.
Have you been able to play the expansions
I have
or this
not.
game?
Honestly, I thought the base game was surprisingly crunchy. I mean, it's so simple. You're just grabbing one of the 5 cards that are out there that have just a little area, and then you superimpose them over your old to make like your own personal painting. But there are every one of these things has different elements. Oh, this has water in it. This has the other, and with all the different objectives you get every time, you can't possibly do it all. So you're constantly having to make compromises to play smart in Canvas. I'm really impressed by the game.
Yeah, love it. All right. So that's our number 10. Let's move on to our next game.
Let's do that. Number 9 on the list. I'll be honest, this is not the first time we've talked about this on the show. I've definitely mentioned in the past because I already, regardless of the savings, have always been a huge fan of number 9, Amun-Re, the card game. And it has been on sale here for quite a while because I think they've got a mountain of these in their warehouse, quite frankly. For a while, they were actually doing them as a giveaway when you bought stuff. And the thing is, I have never seen it this low, down to $5.99 to get this game. And if you go back and watch my video I filmed of it years ago, I mean, I thought it was a great game. It was a worthy game when, its full regular price. At its heart, this is a card game version of Amun-Re, widely considered to be one of designer Reiner Knizia's greatest games of all time, or one of his greatest auction games. And the original Amun-Re did not work well for 2. This new version does, and it's a wonderful game for 2 players. It basically combines the stuff we're trying to auction for, building up, the ancient Egyptian civilizations over multiple generations, where, hey, we bid on stuff, some sticks around for future generations, others get reset, so you've got this really long-term strategy, but it's all driven by auctions. And the auctioning in this game is very, very reminiscent of Raw, another phenomenal one of Reiner Knizia's greatest. Raw is famous for having, look, everybody can see what bidding chips I have. I've got a 1, a 3, a 7, and a 10. And once my 10 is gone, everybody knows, I can always beat you because your 10 is gone. That always created interesting tension in Raw. What Amun-Re, the card game, does is it takes it to the next level because you don't have just a preset number. You actually say, I've got 14 gold, and you divide that gold however you want. You can have a bunch of really low value cards or a few high value cards if you want to make sure you win. It's brilliant. It's such a smart design, and I've always been a fan of it. This is one of the games that I have kept on my shelves through many, many calls. I thought this game was worth it at its full price, but now that it is down to $5.99, I mean, geez Louise, if you are ever interested in Reiner Knizia classic auction games, I think it is worth checking out, especially because, as you pointed out in the pre-show, it's Reiner Knizia's birthday this month. In fact, it might literally be today when you're watching this show. So what better way to celebrate than picking up Amun-Re, the card game, for an insanely low price?
Yeah, seriously, but almost like a price of a cup of coffee these days.
Yeah, definitely.
A wonderful game by an outstanding designer. Yes, we are celebrating, or I am celebrating Reiner Knizia's our birthday throughout the month of November, friends. So great choice, Richard. I still have not played this. I love Raw, and this definitely feels like something in my wheelhouse. So
I know a place you can get it for cheap.
Really?
Yes.
Right.
I'll clue you in after the show.
Yes. Let's move on to our number 8. Number 8, come on up on screen. It is Paris, la Cite de Lumiere. I'm trying to do my French.
Oh my goodness. Where did that come from?
That's like a couple of years of French back in college that I'm so horrible at it. That's pretty much all I can do. But anyways, DeVere Games, friends, they are putting out some really fantastic stuff these days.
Yeah.
And this is much smaller in scale, but the game itself is solid. It's a tile laying game at its heart. You got those polyominoes. You're building, I think it's like the early or late 19th century Paris, and you're building the streets. And you see the little tokens there. Those are the lights. So you're lighting up the streets of Paris. And what you're doing is laying down those tiles, the polyominoes, but it's almost like a double draft, right? So you lay down those, and then the second half of the game, you're going to lay on top of those as well. And depending on how the spatial elements and also the colors and whatnot, that's going to give you fewer or more points. Oh, it's a two-player game. Michelle and I love this game. It's still in our collection. We played it a couple of years ago when we got it, and I feel like for a tile laying game, it's sort of overlooked for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I think it's wonderful, and that's why it's on number 8. Paris, la Cite de Lumiere.
Oh, it was worth it just to hear you try to muddle your way through
Sure.
that a second
Apologies
time.
to our French viewers.
You double dipped the chip, Jerry. No, it's a great game. Like I said, it's a double-decker tile layer. First, you're tile laying to build the streets, and then you're trying to build the buildings on top, and there's long-term and short-term and objectives and all kinds of stuff. Jen and I found, for folks who are interested in interaction, it can be a little cutthroat. You can definitely be making moves to cut off your opponent. They could have been working, I've been trying to get this street like this. Oh, no, don't anywhere but there. But if you're looking for a tile layer with some player interaction, I think you'll be pleased. That's a good choice. Yeah.
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, Michelle and I do, and we do enjoy that a little more. That type of player interaction, and also there's like special actions that you can take as well, which really adds to the depth of the game. So yeah, that's our number 8. Let's move on to our number 7.
Okay, let's do that then. And this is another one that just blew me away when I saw it on the list. How cheap number 7, Dragonsgate College is. Now this was a game I covered many years ago, actually. And it's interesting. I went back and watched my video of it this morning because, I hadn't played it for several years. And I'm like, what did I think of it? And this was interesting because I never gave my final thoughts for this game because at the time at Essen Spiel, my wife was doing a collaboration with NSKN, the publisher. She was actually selling glass. And so I said, well, I can't give you my final thoughts on this game because every additional sale comes into my pocket because my wife is selling, accessories for it. So I never did a final thought. So here we are, all these years later, and let me tell you, folks, $10.99. This game is rock bottom prices. I mean, this is price to move. And I have always thought this is a very, very sharp dice drafting game with a lot of really cool elements. And so let me finally give my final thoughts all these years later. I don't think Jen's making any money off of selling her little glass potion bottles anymore. Although if anybody's interested in those, you can always check them out at www.gamerglass.art. I think she does actually still sell them. They're a popular line for her. But okay, this is a Hogwarts-esque fantasy university where we are training. Actually, it feels more like Dungeons and Dragons universe because we're training kids to be the best warriors, wizards, and thieves. Because as part of setup, there are a bunch of quests that the nearby villages need help with, and so we're trying to train students to get the right skills to be able to go out and complete these quests. And the whole thing is driven by dice drafting. At the beginning of every round, we roll some dice. Some of the dice are mine. Some of the dice are yours that are in this common pool, and some of them are neutral. And here's the thing. If I use my own die or a neutral die, I just get to do the action. And there's all kinds of actions. Hire teachers, build buildings, because there's like this whole little polyomino tile-laying Tetris game off to the side on your own board. Train the kids, have them go through the local dungeon, recruit imps that let you change the value of the dice, all the kind of stuff you would expect in a very, thematic fantasy world. And so if I use the neutral die or my own die, I just do the action. But if I use your die, Ruel, you get to do the action also. And what happens is one of the actions you can do over the course of the game is replace the neutral dice with your own dice. And that's a big part of the strategy because, hey, if at the beginning of a round we're playing a 2-player game and we roll, 4 or 5 dice, and 3 of them are mine, 1 is neutral and only 1 is Ruel's, Ruel doesn't want to use any of my dice because he'll be giving me free actions as well. And so, the draft becomes so much more engaging because, wouldn't you know, the number, Ruel needed a 6. The only 6 that came up was on one of my dice, which means, hey, we're both going to be doing a 6 action this turn. And it's so sharp, and I've never really seen anything else quite like it. Now, all the dice drafting stuff you would expect, using them as basically kind of dice worker placement, modifying the dice to do other stuff. And basically, we're trying to complete these quests, which means we've got recipes to fulfill. We're trying to do tile laying. We're trying to manipulate the dice. It's all very cool, but this idea that it's just one strategy. And I know when I covered this years ago, a lot of people said, well, it seems like, it's just a broken strategy. Make your dice, replace the neutral dice with your dice, and you'll win every time. And here's the problem. For you to do that, you are spending time and resources that gets you nothing other than the potential of future bonuses on your opponent's turn, and you don't necessarily even have control over what those bonuses will be. So, while it may look like that's too powerful, I mean, a lot of people ask me this time. I was looking through my old comments and like, no, that's not a problem because you only have a few rounds. If you spend an entire round doing nothing but reprogramming dice so you could do stuff in the future, while I'm actually building the groundwork of a university that trains kids, I'm still doing more than you. And it just means, you'll get stuff later on if I use your dice. And there's no guarantee I will use your dice, because maybe I'll just try to stick to my own or I'll muscle my own in. It's really sharp, very fun. My biggest worry is the board is huge. It is a ginormous board. And yet, at the same time, the tokens for the students and professors, they're full of super tiny little text. So, there were some usability issues with the game. I will admit that. But it looks nice, it plays sharp, it does some really cool stuff that I've never seen anywhere else in dice drafting, and you can get it now on sale for $10.99, which is why Dragonsgate College comes in at number 7.
Wow, you've sold me. I've never heard of this game before.
Yeah.
I had no idea you covered it. So yeah, that sounds interesting. I'm always down for a dice drafting game, and that looks fantastic. Now, I am worried about the text when you're talking like tiny text on.
It's tiny icons. I'm pretty sure the game is completely language independent.
Okay. Well, cool. All right, great choice. Nice. I'm gonna, for our number 6, I'm also going to bring in a game that's really at rock bottom prices and something that most of us have probably not heard of. It's our number 6. It is Rosetta, the Lost Language.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this one, I've got to shout out our friends, Ambi and Crystal over at the Board Game Blitz podcast. I heard about it during our episode on word games, and I am a word game nerd. I love word games. Yes, and they recommended this. This was actually Crystal's number 1 on her podcast. So I had to, check this out and look at the price on it. It's like, I think it's like $5 or something.
$4.99.
$4.99 for a word game. It's a cooperative game, plays 2 to 5 players. And what this is, Richard, is you literally are starting. You have a language that you're going to try to give clues to, as far as trying to get your fellow players to guess the word based on these inscriptions that you have. So, is there a...
Let me go to... there's not many pictures here. Let me go over to Board Game Geek.
Yeah, if you can go to BGG.
Okay, here we go.
Those are the pictures right there.
There
the inscriptions. So you're the active player is going to select one of those and assign a word to it, a meaning.
Right.
Based on that...
Oh, wow, yes.
Yeah. The rest of the team now has 10 guesses to figure out the meaning of that word. So you're going to use the other inscriptions to sort of lead your team to the actual meaning of the game. It is a fascinating concept to me. And I've never played it, but just based on Crystal's description on our podcast, the description here, and the fact that it's $4.99, I want to play this right now. I mean, look at this. I mean, you're taking these little inscriptions and like hieroglyphics, I guess. They're like hieroglyphics. You're going to put meaning to it, and hopefully you'll steer your team to victory.
So that's what these pictures are. You're trying to actually communally create a iconographic language that describes the picture.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's my experience with this game. The publisher actually contacted me when it was first getting ready.
Okay.
And I read the rules for it. And I thought, oh my God, this game sounds so incredibly offbeat brilliant, but I will literally melt down. As I understood reading the rules to, how you actually have to do triple, quadruple levels of reverse deduction type stuff to figure out what players' little scribbles and, this means that word, but how could that other thing mean that other word? Like you can see, Underwater and Mermaid, they both have the lightning bolt. The lightning bolt came from one of the other things. How does this to that? I was just, wow. For somebody who loves deduction and love word games, this would be great, but I was afraid for me and Jen it would be too much.
Yeah, and that's, now, just to be fair, Crystal did say it's not for everyone, and I can see that. It is a different type of word game, different type of deduction game, but I think it's brilliant. Just like you said, just hearing the concept, I'm so excited about that. And for $4.99, I'm definitely going to give it a shot at that price. So that's our number 6, Rosetta, the Lost Language.
You will have to report back, because I have been curious about this game, and I've always been second guessing. Should I have passed on covering it? Because it just seems so freaking brilliant, and I just was afraid I'm not brilliant enough to play it, quite frankly.
I will report to you on how we do. I mean, I'll probably be terrible at it, but I'm going to enjoy it regardless. But that's our number 6.
That's a pretty good one. Let's move on then to number 5, which is another game that we've talked about on the channel. This was like one of the ones in our very first episodes of the R&R Show. I mentioned progress, evolution of technology. And this is a perennial one that Fun Again has in their blowout sale section, because I guess they've just got a lot of copies of it. And unfortunately, this is a great tech tree game, which I did not prepare for by actually getting it on screen. I'm frantically trying to type at the same time. There we go. Here it is. Progress. The evolution of technology. This is a tech tree game where, a lot of civilization style games, hey, one of the many things you do is a tech tree. This tech leads to this, technology leads to this. This entire game is about making investments in technology. It looks like they got no pictures here. So you know what we need to do? We need to go to Rahdo, Progress, Evolution. And we'll just pull up my old video from 2014. Folks, This is not a cult of the new game we are talking about today. This is a classic oldie that Jen and I both loved. And much like Amun-Re before it, this is another game that I have had on my shelves and I have carried through call after call after call and kept it because Jen and I really like it. We love tech trees, and this is a game that just strips everything else out and just lets you focus on that. Hey, if I get this technology, this technology, that lets me do this next level and work our way up, and that's how we score points. Developing our civilizations based on our technologies, depending on how things work together. But there's a few things that really make this stand out. One, you have a handful of cards, and this is one of those games that to play this card I got to give up other cards. Those cards go into a discard pile that is publicly available to everybody. So very much like Lost Cities, every time you're throwing cards away, you are potentially giving your opponent exactly what they need. If they're not going to draw from the blind deck, they could draw the discard pile, and I gave you that. Why did I use that? I could have paid for that with anything.
She's going to draw herself another card.
So that was one thing I love about the game. The other thing I love about the game too is this game actually references the process of time. When you play your card to make your invention, it does not instantly get invented. It takes time. And so you put these tokens on it that slowly come off until you eventually have the invention. And it's fully ready. It's ready to give its abilities, its points, whatever. But here's the thing. As soon as you put it onto the table and it's going to be starting to slowly build up, it already counts as a breakthrough for other things. And I just love that thematically, that, hey, just the idea of this, we haven't perfected it yet. It doesn't work yet, but we've already had the idea for the wheel, and that gets our mind thinking. We can already be starting to piggyback off of that, even if we're still in the process of slowly inventing the wheel, or fire, or chariots, or the internet, or whatever it might be. And I've always thought that was a really, really cool thing, too, that does a better job of capturing the human spirit of invention more so than other games where, you just put it down and it's just done. No. Things don't just spontaneously pop into existence. They take time to perfect, but you can still get inspiration from them and work your way up. So I've always been a big fan of this game, and it is now available at Fun Again at a low, low price, lower than I have ever seen it before, down to $12.99. Wow. And this is a big, rich card game with lots of replayability. I'm a fan, always have been. Number 5. Progress, evolution of technology.
Yeah, this game, I haven't played it, but I've always heard about how it's basically, a Civ game where, some Civ games, or a lot of Civ games have the tech tree. This is nothing but the tech tree,
yes.
Right?
Yep.
That's so, I'd love to play this game. At that price, oh my gosh, that's wonderful. Okay, let's move on to our number 4. This one is by a designer that most of us have probably heard or played some of his games.
Okay.
Our number 4 is Reef by Emerson Matsuuchi.
I seriously thought about this one, yes, when I saw it on the list.
I like to call. When I first played it, it just reminded me of Azul, but 3D Azul. You were building on top of things. You were building a reef. You've got all the different coral pieces and whatnot. And there's these wonderful plastic. They're like toys basically. Mm-hmm. These wonderful toy pieces, almost like a Fisher-Price toy, right? You're placing on your player board. But what you're doing is you're grabbing these pieces, put it on your board, and you're trying to complete the objectives there. So you want like 2 yellow ones next to each other or in a row, purples like 3 in a row. And what's really neat is the board is small, so you're going to be able to do objectives, but then to do other objectives, you're going to build on top of your previously placed pieces, and that's a really neat element to it. That's something that Azul doesn't have. And I'm wondering if Azul one day is going to go 3D. I feel like it should eventually.
Yeah, they feel like they've done everything else so far.
Right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, but Reef is, it's a wonderful design. Like others, Emerson's games, I mean, he's done, what is it, Foundations of Rome, Century Spiced Road, some really excellent, Spectre Ops, some really excellent games. And this is another one of them that are very, just the rules are solid, the gameplay is excellent. And I'd like this one as a gateway game, but also for hobby gamers as well. Yeah. I think it's gone well with all the different audiences, and that's why it's our number 4, Reef.
All right, excellent choice. Yeah, when I saw that one, I seriously considered. I don't think I'd seen it this low before. It's a bit more expensive than something we talked about, but you get a lot of plastic in this game.
Yes,
and like you said, it's kind of like Lego toys almost. The way these beautiful things just they don't snap together; they fit loosely together. But really sharp. Surprisingly crunchy little abstract game, and beautiful, just lovely. If you see somebody playing it on a table at a convention, you say, "What is that? I'd like to play it," just because it looks so nice. Yeah. Cool.
Agreed.
All right. Well, that is a good number 4. But I've got an even better number 3. Oh my goodness. This made my top 10. I think it was last year, or it might have been the year before. Top 10 of the year. I think it was 2 years ago. Red Cathedral.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. This is another one from DeVere. We talked about this. It's not the first time we talked about DeVere today. Man, this publisher, they are firing on all cylinders. It seems like they can do no wrong. And I think Red Cathedral, when it came out a couple of years ago, really opened up the industry's eyes to what they can do. At its heart, this is a very, very simple little rondel game where there are a bunch of dice on the edge of the rondel, and on your turn, you're going to pick one of those dice, move clockwise around the rondel, equal to the number of pips on the die, and then, of course, the dice are going to get re-rolled, and so that it's always updating, and you want to land that die into a spot where there's a bunch of other dice, because then that will compound the bonuses you get. But the place you land, every spot can get you resources that you need to build a Red Cathedral, or instead could let you interact with the guild that's in that spot as well. So this is a rondel with variable dice driving it that has multi-use spaces on it, and all of it is in the service of building the Red Cathedral. And it is absolutely brilliant. I think this made a lot of people's top lists of the year. And it is now available for a low sale price. And if you haven't had a chance to get it so far yet, this would be, you can check out my run through of it. It's absolutely brilliant. It has a great solo mode. There's one other thing that really, now, this might be why some people don't like it, but one of the things I love about it more than anything else is, hey, I can just spend a lot of time grabbing a lot of resources and then build later. But you have incredibly tight, restrictive storage. So this is one of those games where, you can spend a lot of time getting stuff, but then can you actually build what you need to build because you don't have room to get the other stuff you need? So it's an incredibly tight, tension-filled game. The Red Cathedral itself is different. You do a different configuration every time. And it's a communal building. So another thing is, if Ruel grabs like the base, because he really wants to get the points off of that and starts building it, but then I'm really quick and build a tower on top of his base, before he finishes his base, he'll look bad in front of the Tsar and actually lose points. So there's also this race element to it too. Everything about this game is just crackerjack, super smart, easy to teach, fun, fast playing. I cannot recommend highly enough. Number 3, Red Cathedral.
Yeah, that was also one of my games of the year as well when it came out. Just a fantastic Euro game through and through. Just very, very solid game. Yeah, so great choice for number 3.
Alrighty.
Let's move on to number 2. This is a game I've been looking forward to like big time. This has been on top of my, I can't wait to play this. I have not played it yet, but it is Terra Nova. Friends, yes, this is the re-implementation.
This wasn't on the sale list, was it? I don't remember seeing that.
I don't know if it was on the sale list or it was like on the new list. It might be on like the hot newness. Yeah, the hotness. But this is a re-implementation of Terra Mystica, an outstanding game that was out many years ago. But what I love about this, I've been really into this thing lately, Richard, where publishers are taking these classic designs and really streamlining down to like 60 to 90 minute experiences. Because the original Terra Mystica, if you haven't played it, folks, it's a game about, different factions that are trying to terraform the land. Like you have, I think it's like a mermaid trying to at the lakes. Witches at the forest. I don't know. Was there a skunk? I don't know if there's a skunk or dwarves and giants and whatever. But that's what the game's all about, and it's got a bunch of different movie levers and all kinds of different things. What Terra Nova does, and this is why I'm excited, it takes a bunch of stuff out. Like, I know some people didn't like the cultist track or whatever. This takes out a bunch of stuff but keeps the same tight gameplay. The board is smaller, so there's gonna be a lot more interaction. There's still that puzzly element of, how are you gonna get your resources and spend them, and make sure that you can terraform your land. I am so thrilled to be checking out this game, and now that it's out and about, I need to get a copy of it. That's why it's on number 2, Terra Nova.
Yeah. Play Terra Mystica in half the time and more approachable, so you can play it with more people. Yes, that is
I'm
great.
all about it.
And you're right. It is very exciting. I didn't know they took out the cultist tracks. You're right. That's a big part. So you can just focus more on building in the world. That's really smart. And I think it still has the wide variety of different factions you can play as, but just a much more approachable game. Good choice. And it looks real pretty too. Actually, I think it looks more colorful than the original. Looking at that picture.
Yeah, a little more vibrant.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Well, you had we were promising mostly to try to visit some old classics you might miss, folks, but both of us succumbed to the cult of the new. Ruel came in at number 2 with Terra Nova, and I'm coming in at number 1 with Endless Winter. I have to do it. I have to. Nice. Ever since I covered this game when it was on Kickstarter, a couple of years ago, I was so impressed by this design from upcoming design superstar Stan Kardonsky. And he's since, people didn't quite knew who he was, and since then, he's produced a lot of other really great designs too, but this, I think, is still pretty much going to be considered one of his masterpieces, and that is an interesting picture to put. No actual picture. You know what? We're going back to Rahdo. Endless Winter. Rahdo.
There you go.
Endless Winter. I'm just going to go on ahead and pull up my run-through of the prototype, which was a good-looking prototype, if I recall, if I can get there. Here we go. Come on. Okay, so this is a game about life in Paleo America. We are trying to build up our tribes to success, and it's there's so much going on in this game. And this game came out when it was on Kickstarter. I don't seem to have a single vision that's not zoomed in. All right, there we go. There's the whole game. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff going on in this game. It is a deck builder. It is a worker placement game. It is a territory grabbing game. It is a kind of puzzly tile laying game. And when I played it originally, I could not help but draw comparisons the year that it was on Kickstarter to two really hot games at the time, Arnak, or Lost Ruins of Arnak, and Dune Imperium. Because this was like a trinity of games that I played all within a month of each other that fused worker placement and deck building in completely different ways every time. And if you go back and watch my video, I said at the time, this was the best of the bunch. Because the way it works is you have these cards that represent all the members of your clan. And you have cool little miniature workers that represent the actual work that we'll go out and do. And I can just send out a worker and do a really, really weak version of the job, or I can supplement them with the cards from my hand. You can get more of the same type, so it's like more of this particular tribal elder will help the little guy who goes out and gathers resources or goes hunting or recruits more cards. You can get more cards in your deck. And it's got gorgeous art from the Miko, my favorite, or the Micho. Yeah. The Miko. Micho? I think it's the Micho. People have corrected me. It's the Micho. And it looks fantastic. It's incredibly rich. This is a prototype. The final version has even nicer looking components than this, with the dual layer boards and all of that. But it's just so rich and crunchy and satisfying as you try to work two completely different strategy board games together, getting your dice, your worker placement to smoothly blend with your deck building, so that you can have the most successful tribe. It is absolutely phenomenal. It's only just now starting to get in people's hands, and I was shocked. I mean, for what you get in the base box, let's go back over to Kick. You get all this stuff, all these miniatures, all these cards for $48. I was very surprised by that price. I did not expect it to be quite so low. So that was it, folks. That's number 1 on the list of games we'd buy right now while these sales are going on for Cyber Monday, Endless Winter. Phew. Okay.
Woo. Nice. All right.
All right, folks. Did you hear one of us say the secret word? Do you even remember what the secret word was? Were you paying attention? Somebody said skunk. It stunk up the place. And if you heard it, be sure to send an email to contest@rahdo.com with the name of the game that was spoken, and you'll enter to win $50. You've got a week to do it, folks, because we'll be doing a drawing for that $50 a week from today, day of recording, on November 22nd. That's right, we're having 2 weeks back-to-back of the R&R Show, and I think that's about it, Ruel. Do you have anything more to say in closing?
No, I think we are good to go. Another excellent list, and I can't wait to do this again next week.
All right, well, then I will see you then, and hope to see all the rest of you too, folks. So, hope you have a very, very nice day. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Ruel, for joining us. And as always, thanks to Funnigan Games for sponsoring the show. Have a nice day, everybody. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye. Phew. Okie doke. Okie doke. The post show.
Hey, I totally blew the secret word. I
mean, you were really obvious where you put it.
It was because I forgot to do it on the game that I wanted to.
What was the game you were going to do it, and that will let people know not to choose that game. What were you going to put it?
Yeah, so I had to jam it in somewhere, and it was pretty obvious where I put it, but I was on the fly. I had to. It's not the first time I've done that, but yeah, hopefully people caught it.
It made sense. It made sense.
Yeah, okay.
And folks, in case you didn't catch it, but you are a subscriber to the show, we've had a few subscribers show up today. Thank you very much for supporting the show, everybody. You can just direct whisper me, using the direct message system of Twitch, and I'll just tell you where it is, so you know what the game was. I caught it. I actually laughed out loud because, wow, that's pretty brazen. You just slipped it in right there. That'll work. Okay. If it worked, it worked. It was fairly natural.
We've got some time. You want to take care of some stuff?
15 minutes. So,
yeah, let's take care of some stuff.
Have any questions popped up? I see one question in the queue, which is Mom Gamer saying, I'm traveling on a business trip and looking to take 5 solo games. Recommendations for solo games. Well, obviously you want them small. Trip. I mean, Mom Gamer, we need your collection. Unless you're looking to buy 5 games.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, Mom Gamer, I will suggest one. I always suggest, especially for travel, Tiny Epic Galaxies. That one's a wonderful solo game, and it's a small box game. Now, when you're at a hotel, I've brought it on business trips before where I'm in my hotel, I have the little desk there, and it fits perfectly. You just, chuck some dice and, try to expand your galaxy in Tiny Epic Galaxies. Wonderful game.
Yeah, I'd buy that for $1. Let me just pull up a couple. Okay, so we want small. We want satisfying, and I assume we also want ones that are relatively easy to get your hands on, because I've got a bunch of really weird esoteric ones that would be kind of tough to pick up.
I think another classic, Friday by Friedman Freeze.
Sure.
A solo deck builder. Wonderful game.
Let's see. Well, heck, I just mentioned Red Cathedral. It's a full-size box, but if you just take the components, that's a really nice, tiny, tidy little package to take.
Yeah.
As is, there's plenty of roll and writes, too. The new Isle of Cats roll and write is phenomenal, and it plays great solo and gives you so much playability. Sagrada is fantastic too.
Yeah.
But you know what? Actually, I think if I were doing that, I would probably just want to take a bunch of roll and writes. Welcome to Welcome to the Moon specifically, if you want to get one, Welcome to, or the Railroad Inks. Those are great, and again, they're just a sheet of paper, some dice. You probably just take one set of dice and use them amongst all the games for most of them. So I'd probably be thinking something along that line.
If you want something a little crunchier for roll and writes, the Dinosaur Island Raw and Write, I think that's a wonderful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Easy to transport as well. Yeah, it's
Oh, I see. Wesseloid, or was it Wesseloid? No. A Goblin suggests Finished, which is another solo-only game. It's kind of a sequel to Friday, except instead of being on a deserted island trying to help Robinson Crusoe, you're a poor, hapless person working in an office trying to sort stuff. It was an interesting game. That's definitely a love it or hate it kind of game. Finished. I thought it was pretty cool.
I haven't played that one yet, but I have played Kabuki Kid's suggestion for Sprawlopolis. That is
yes. Anything from Button Shy that supports solo play, just don't take 5. Take 10, take 15 of them. You'll fit them all in your backpack without even breaking a sweat. And they're such a brilliant design house. Hey, you know what we forgot to do? I just went right into Q&As. Were there any other ones that you wanted to mention that were on your list that you just missed?
Oh, yeah. So you know what's funny? I knew you were going to pick Red Cathedral. That would have made my
Yep.
list. I knew
Yep.
you were
Yep.
picking that one. The other ones I had were let me see. Oh, a game called Hatsuden. This is a Japanese import game. It was under $10.
Okay.
This is basically a smaller version of Schottentotten by Reiner Knizia. It is,
Really?
yeah, it's like supposed to play in half the time. Not as I don't know if it's it's got half the components as well. But Hatsuden, Hatsuden. The other ones on my list were Fjords, which we covered. Amy and Maggie covered on the channel here. Oh, there's Hatsuden.
Yeah.
Fjords that Amy and Maggie covered here on the channel.
Yep. Always
we
great.
talked about Canvas. Framework, the new Uwe Rosenberg game.
I really want to play that.
I think, for me, it's like Nova Luna. I prefer this one. I really like Framework. Yes.
Okay.
The other two were Village Rails, the new game by Mickey
that
Dustin,
just
Brett
missed my
Gilbert.
list.
Yeah, that's that would have made my list. And then the other one, Splendor Duel. Michelle and I love that game. One of my favorites of the year.
Yes.
Splendor Duel. Yeah, love it so much. So there's mine. What about yours?
Right, I'm too slow. I don't know why I'm doing this. I haven't done it in the past, but yes, look, there's pictures and whatnot. Right, where's my list? I have it here somewhere. There we go. About what else did I have? Okay, I only had. There were like 18 games on that for sale list that I could have recommended, and so I talked about my top 4, and I could talk about what does that mean then the other 14, but I'll just limit to the 6. Let's see. So Vivid Memories. That would have been very appropriate with you throwing Reef on there. Reef is a nice lightweight abstract. Vivid Memories is probably the crunchiest abstract to have come out in years. It's why I like it more than all the others. It's why some people can't stand it because it is. Mostly abstract games are generally pretty sleek and elegant and yet fun and deep to play. This is all of that except for the elegant. This has a lot of rules, but that makes me like it even more, quite frankly. Then they had Steampunk Rally.
Oh yeah,
Fusion,
right?
Yep. They had that one, which is dropped down over 50%. This is in the pre-show we had a race game. I should have mentioned this one is the race game. A great race game. Really enjoy it. And and then we had some big ones too. I was actually, for the most part, trying to stick with lower cost stuff if we were really focusing. But Boon Lake, usually it's cost over 50 elsewhere, but here it's $44. And this made my top 10. Another really phenomenal design from Alexander Pfister, my second favorite design of all time. Really good, fun, solid stuff. And Messina 1347, which was it last year's? Big Euro from Vladimir Suki, and it's great. You can see my run through to see why it's at a low price. Although again, higher prices than the one I ultimately talked about. And then this one, oh my gosh, you know what? I should have, when we were in the intro, when we were talking about Fantasy Flight games, I should have given a nod to Legacy of Dragonholt, which is also on sale and is such a wonderful experience. It was like nothing Jen and I had ever played before. I did a big old video of it so you can learn more about it, and so I probably would have given a nod to this one as well. So there were quite a few, and all of these are at least $5, if not more, off of their regular price. But then when I saw, Endless Winters here, okay, I got to talk about that, even if it's,
yeah.
But then I was genuinely shocked how low that price of game that is, considering. I mean, geez, where is it? It's right here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big box.
It takes a ton of table space.
There's a lot in here for $44. Yeah. That's really surprising. Phew. All right. Back to questions. Do we have any more questions?
Let's check. Any other questions? We've got Tibble Baloo asks, they just got Resurgence. How does that compare to Endless Winter by the same creator?
Oh, yes. Oops. Sorry. I just closed that. I don't know why I did that. Both from Kardonsky. Resurgence is not as heavy. Resurgence, I would say, is a bit lighter. Endless Winter has, they both are games where, there's a bunch of stuff going on, but Endless Winter, there's like 3 extra things worth of stuff that are going on at any given time. So if you're looking for a heavier, crunchier game, I would go with Endless Winter. If you're looking for something that's just more midweight as opposed to midweight plus, or maybe even like midweight, but just like a little bit less than midweight, I'd Resurgent. Go Resurgence. Plus, Resurgence is a post-apocalypse game about a brutal fight for survival in a frozen wasteland as humanity tries to resurge. So, if you are actually, it's interesting. They're both about brutal fights for survival in a frozen wasteland. What is going on with Stan Kardonsky here? I didn't really notice that before. But Resurgence, our biggest problem with it is you are controlling a ragtag group of survivors. There's a lot of shooting other human beings and kapow with AK-47s, and so that kind of was a little off-putting for my wife Jen, who does not want to see that subject matter in her games at all. So of the two, I'd probably go with Endless Winter, but they were both great designs, definitely.
Awesome, cool. Yeah. No other questions?
No questions. Well, then let's go back and let's see if we can squeeze in one more segment since we had so many backed up. Alrighty, where are we? Where's that button? This is the button. That is reward requests. And then that brings up this list. Okay, we can do a top 3 or Ruel ranks.
I think we should do a top 3. That way we can do something together.
Okay, folks. We need you to give us a topic. And we will tell you the 3 best of them. And we will only let you vote for 1 minute instead of 2. So start suggesting topics you would like us to rank. Alrighty. Quickie.
By the way, Kabuki Kid's asking for a chicken update if you want to share that.
Alrighty, chicken, nothing much to say. Jen is eyeballing a couple more chickens who are really getting long in the tooth. So we might be having a culling pretty soon, which is not fun for anybody, especially me because I'm the one who has to do the deed with the blade. But otherwise, things are going well. The new chickens we got a few months ago, they're almost full grown, but they have not started laying yet. And and our neighbor still loves them. So whenever we take off in the RV, our neighbor is more than happy to get some free eggs and take care of them in our absence. So that is fantastic. So what do we got?
Cool. Okay, what do we got here? Top 3 time periods to time travel to, top 3 Avengers, best remake show, top 3 ice creams, which I think we've done before.
Yeah, we have done that.
We have
time travel.
Top 3 time periods. I sort of like that one. Okay. Let's see. Best remake TV show.
All right. TV remake. All right.
Top 3 Avengers.
Okay. You got 2 more, folks. If you want any game topics, now's the time to mention them.
Top 3 desserts. A little more general.
All right. Desserts just with 2 S's.
Here's a good one for games. Top 3 games that grew on you.
Games that grow. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, then there we go. Alrighty, I'm making it 1 minute this time because you folks got to choose. Pick your poison. Which one do you like? Hey, it didn't appear on screen. Why is that? It is working, right? Is there a vote? Yes, there is. Why isn't it appearing on screen? That's weird. I guess I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah, well, it's just showing up on Twitch.
I shouldn't, but all right. Let's see. What would you choose of all those topics?
I mean, me and the foodies, anything to do with food, I'm down with. So.
Right.
Let's see.
It should be there. It's just not appearing. That's weird.
It's in the Twitch chat.
Yeah. So people can still vote, but I can't put the thing on screen.
Huh.
I don't know why. It doesn't matter. I mean, people can see what they're voting, and right now it's games that grow on you or periods to time travel, and it looks like it's one of those 2 to win. Nobody wants to hear about desserts. Only one person wants to hear about TV remakes, and Avengers is a non-starter. So,
desserts,
it's coming down to the wire. And it was games that grow on you. Yep. Okay. So, games, Ruel, that have grown on you over time. What can you think of? See, that's why I asked you, hey, can you do that? Because I tend to fall in love with games or not right off the bat.
Yeah, I'm looking at my collection right now. I'm going to pull up my collection.
All right.
Because I know there's got to be something here. Let me see. Games that grew on me.
Yeah, I mean, my problem is games don't, if we don't like it, it's gone. They don't get a chance to grow on us as a general rule.
Yeah.
It is a tricky thing.
Let me ask you this. Have you always been like that, or is it after you became, start doing videos and stuff?
Well, my history as a gamer is, I discovered Pandemic by accident, fell in love with that, went down the rabbit hole, and actually I've done a full video on this. My first 10 games, where I actually talked about like my first year as a gamer and all the terrible mistakes I bought buying games until I could actually find ones that Jen and I liked, and I learned how to use Board Game Geek to actually do proper research instead of just buying stuff that sounded cool. So it's an educational video and an embarrassing video as well. So by the time I started doing Rahdo runs through, I was already pretty good at knowing when to avoid games that were not going to be a good fit for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean,
okay,
I just say no to them right out of the gate. And on the off chance it turns out we don't like it, you know what? There's another 50 games waiting in the queue. You don't get a second chance in our household.
Yeah.
And I just will never talk about it publicly. But I mean,
and that's I was gonna say, like, early on when I got in the hobby, I was apt to try pretty much anything. But then as you start to, at least for me, I started realizing what I liked and what I didn't like in games. So now I know, like, after a play or even before the play, it's like if this is going to be my style of game or not. One game though, okay, well, off top, the one I can think of that really grew on me, Brass Birmingham. That one, I liked it. I liked it the first time I played it, and I could tell. I mean, it's a brilliant game, but I wasn't sure if it was really my style of game. I mean, I know you're not like the biggest pickup and delivery fan, which has some of those elements.
No, it is not. It is not a pickup and delivery game. Well, pickup and delivery is about having a character who walks over here, literally picks a thing up, and then has to walk it over there. Everything teleports in the game. There is no picking up and delivering.
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you're right. And see, that's the thing. When I first played it, I was like, okay, this is really interesting. It's nothing like I've played before where, stuff, you have to have the right resources. It's all about timing as well. So I wasn't sure if I liked it, but then the second and third times I played it, I was like, okay, yes, this is really, really smart. And really, so this game grew on me. Now, here's the thing. I still suck at the rules as far as like beer teleporting or not. I always forget. Does the beer teleport or not? And it's not intuitive to me. But yeah.
Well, no, I mean, it is thematically appropriate because you have to imagine coal gets transported by train, right?
Right.
Beer, generally speaking, at that time did not. Beer was traveling via little wagon carts around.
Yeah.
And so, it could just, hey, you don't see the wagon cart roads on the map anywhere because it's just assumed that, somebody loaded up a wagon full of beer and it just showed up where it needed to go. You don't have to build the infrastructure for beer. You have to build the infrastructure for coal and lumber. I'm trying to remember what the other core things are.
Iron, I think.
Yeah, iron. And so that's why that stuff doesn't teleport, but beer does. Right?
Yeah.
Or no, there's like in the original there's like ingots, I think, if I recall correctly. Small little things can just they can special deliver them. I mean, it makes sense thematically because you haven't had to invest in the infrastructure to get little things around. That's why they quote teleport.
Right. And in my mind, I always thought it was like, as business people, striking deals, you're always just carrying beers around to like, grease the local politicians or whoever you're trying to do to build infrastructure. So in my mind, teleportation just means that everyone's carrying beers around wherever they go.
That's a different thematic approach, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one that grew on me definitely over the years, Brass Birmingham, and it's actually one of my top 10 games of all time. Now it's that's room for growth. It's really grown on me. What about you?
Any I can say, but here's what I can say: there have been a couple of games Jen and I have played recently that when we started playing them, we're like, oh my god, why did I say yes to this? This seems terrible. And it grew on us over the course of the one play. The first time we sat down and played it, and we're like, oh, don't like this. And by the end, wow, that really surprised us. So I can mention one, Series, which I don't remember if it's I think it is launched on Kickstarter right now. It is a game about, far away asteroid mining or mining the dwarf the dwarf planet Ceres. And when Jen and I first sat down and started to play it, and we're doing what was it in there? It is, it's a worker placement game. Right. We thought, wow, this just feels really mechanical and boring, and it seems like it's very fait accompli, and this game isn't going to surprise us at all, and we know what we're doing, and by the time we were a third of the way, oh, wow. Whoa, this game really blossomed fast in a way that we did not expect. I mean, this was one of the games that when they reached out and said, hey, do you want to cover it? I'm like, yes, I didn't have to read the rules because I trusted Artipia Games. And then I'm like, oh my God, did I make a terrible mistake? Did Artipia Games, have they been away from the audience too long? Have they made a terrible game? But in the space of the first time we played it, both Jen and I by the end were like, wow, that really surprised us. We did not expect this game to become as rich and deep. We thought it was just going to be a pretty straightforward vanilla. Yeah, it's got a cool little twist with this idea of I've got my own personal workers, but then there's like a public pool of workers as well. But that gets so rich and interesting so fast. So I would say Series grew on me over the course of one play.
Okay, cool. I think that's fair. That totally works. I'm trying to think. The brass was the big one for me. I can't. I'm looking at my collection. I don't know what else I can put in this list because I feel like I know right off the bat, how I'm going to feel about a game.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah. I am literally looking through my collection of 400 games.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, I'll give you another one. Dead
Okay.
Reckoning.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Dead Reckoning. It's the same kind of idea. It's not like, I played it half a dozen times before it finally clicked. But I sat down thinking, I mostly wanted to play it because, hey, they're offering a co-op mode. That's great. I didn't want to play it when it wasn't co-op, but now they got the co-op mode. And I really like the Mystic Vale card crafting. But I don't really have that much interest in, pirates on the high seas and all of that. And it seemed like it was a pretty straightforward, you just got to sail around and fight stuff. And is that really going to be that interesting? And okay, yeah, there'll be a little bit of fun stuff with the card crafting. And that's really why I'm here. And, oh my gosh, this card crafting is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too. That game, if you play cooperative, it's a long freaking game. Even at 2 players, it is very, very long, which is something that's a real turnoff for us. But we were both surprised, considering how it started out, and we're not really doing anything, and it's just going to be walking. I would have used the quote with her, except she wouldn't have. If I were playing with you, I would have said within the first couple turns, is this another bug hunt charge? That's what I would have said. That's where my mind was. But it really does grow and create interesting opportunities. I got to get back to port. I can't stay out here, but I got to keep fighting. And it really surprised me in a happy way too. So I'd probably go with that.
Yeah,
it grew
that's
on
a great example. Quickly. Yeah, I agree with you that game, it takes a while to ramp up.
Yeah, very much so. I assume in a multiplayer game too, right?
Yeah, and I almost feel like
competitive game.
Yeah, I almost want like Terraforming Mars Prelude. That solved a lot of problems for the original.
Yeah.
Well, you get that kickstart. Why not, give me a little boost at the start to get things going? Because it's a wonderful game, and I actually like Dead Reckoning better than the other card crafting game they did, The Edge of Darkness, I think it was called. That one, for whatever reason, that one didn't stick with me as much. I didn't find it as compelling, but I really like Dead Reckoning. But yeah, great call.
Okay, hey, we came up with a few. We came up with a little top 3. It was Brass, Dead Reckoning, which we both agreed with. That grew on both of us. And what was your other one? Or did you have a second one?
You had a second one.
I had a second one, which was Series, which nobody has played.
Series.
So there's our top 3 greatest games to grow on of all time, once and for all.
Right.
And it's after 2, so it is time to raid. Do you see anybody you like out there in the wide world of Twitch board gaming?
All right, Twitch board gaming. We've got
And remember, folks, we will be back a week from now. Normally, it's been a monthly show, but we've got another sponsor for next week. So we'll be back coming up with a new top 10 and showing off a new alternate. By this time next week, I'll have a different table cover. It'll still be black.
Oh, really?
But yeah, and showing off some bag carrying, which I'm excited about because, hey, I need a bag carrier for my RV. So I'm looking forward to that, too.
Oh, cool.
So do you see anybody you like?
I was just going to ask, do you have any upcoming RV streams coming up? Anything planned?
No, RV. I recorded. Where is it? I can't find it now. The Shake That City. I recorded a run through for that yesterday because it's launching next week.
Oh,
I came very close to going out and filming it on the RV table.
Yeah, that game doesn't take much space.
I know, it would have been perfect. It would have been a nice little test drive for it, but it was freezing in the RV yesterday. And so I'm like, no, I'll just sit here where it's nice and comfortable. But yeah, I'm going to experiment. I've figured out how I'm going to get a camera over my head and stuff like that. So that's definitely going to happen, but probably not for a while.
I found someone we could raid. They're playing Fit to Print right now.
What? So who? Let's go get them.
They're doing it for charity, apparently. So this is...
Yes. Who is it?
Eat, Crit, Survive. Eat, Crit, Survive.
Yeah, one
All
word?
one word.
Eat, Crit, Survive. Board games. They got 22 people watching right now.
Yep.
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, folks. Oh, and Paula Deming is there.
Paula Deming's there. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Paula's
so,
the
folks, definitely, let's go get Eat, Crit, Survive a little love. Tell them Rahdo and Ruel sent you. You played, you already did a video for it. I think you've done 2 videos for it now, haven't you?
I did 2 videos. Michelle and I played it, and then I did a solo run through. I love the game.
It's great. It is great. Peter
fantastic.
McPherson, emblazon that name in your gamer brains, everybody. Peter McPherson, if he's got a game coming, you got to check it out. And that includes
Agreed.
Fit to Print. We're going to go raid them right now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Raid! Go, 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 go! Please work, raid. Please. I'm always afraid it won't work. Eat,
Peter McPherson's in chat there too. Okay, cool. It worked.
It worked? Okay, we have arrived. And awesome. Okay, have they noticed? No, they seem very deep in thought. Oh, I see Paula is smiling, but I can't hear what they're saying. But okay, looks like we were successful. All right. And we got to do this again in a week, buddy, so I'll see you soon.
See you in a week.
All right, where is that button? Hitting the button. Bye, everybody.
Bye.